What's up, Fight Fam, and welcome to Boxing Bros. My name's Caden. I'm here with my co-host. But first, we would like to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, everyone. If y'all want to let the people wish Happy Father's Day to the people, no?
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day, world.
All right. Introduce yourselves, fellas.
What's going on? This is Trill.
And I'm back. This is G. Frank Warren got me the bag, so he's back. You know what I mean?
You know, with the Frank.
that bag that I needed to stay on Boxing Bros, you know?
What's good, world? It's TBE, yo. How y'all doing?
All right, so the first topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros are comments made by Leonard Ellerbe. Leonard Ellerbe said in an interview that he feels like it's disrespectful that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury announced their fight for Undisputed while Fury still has a trilogy with Deontay Wilder. And that's from an article from World Boxing News. So I'm going to turn this one over to Trill Dollar Bill. What's your thoughts on that?
Yo, y'all stop taking up for this grown man. Let him come out and talk for himself. Everybody coming out talking for this grown man.
What Trill is trying to say is no.
But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I don't get it. Let him talk. Let him talk. Let Deontay Wilder talk. Everybody stop taking up for this grown man. Like I said before, and I keep saying again, it's harder. It's making it harder and harder to like him. You know what I'm saying? And continue to like him as a person. When y'all keep doing this, he ain't no punk. He ain't no coward. This was once he considered himself the baddest man on the planet. This is Mr. Bomb Squad. Put some respect on that man's name. Stop taking up for him like he's some punk. Right? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna take up for a man who ain't taking up for himself? That's just cold. But I said enough. I said more than enough. Let that man talk for himself.
All right, Ned.
I agree with Trills, man. Everybody's coming to Deontay Wilder's defense, but he's not saying anything. He's not coming out. He's not speaking on things. So if he's not saying it, how is it disrespectful to him? You know. So it's whatever. It's just people trying to capitalize off of get some spotlight with all of this going on. So it's whatever. It's just.
I'm going to let G go last on this one. But for me, if it's disrespectful, do something about it then. I mean, this isn't one of those scenarios where Deontay Wilder works a desk job and there are so many people above him and he has to stay silent in fear of, repercussions and unjust actions being taken against him. This is a scenario where if he feels disrespected, he has the biggest hand in the outcome. So Fury disrespected you, you literally get to punch him in the face and make it right. So you feel disrespected, do something about it. There's so many people who aren't in the position that Deontay Wilder's in. They feel disrespected on the job. They feel underappreciated. They feel undervalued. They feel they don't have the ability to handle it the way Deontay Wilder does, and they wish that they do. But for Deontay Wilder, it is plain and simple. You have a third fight. Win. G.
I actually agree 1,000 with Caden on this one, but however, I do agree with Leonard Ellerbe. I do think it was disrespectful, right? It's always disrespectful when you overlook your next opponent. So, but Wilder has the opportunity to make them, to pretty much how I put it, to prevent this mega fight from happening. Wilder has that opportunity to shock the world. All he has to do is show and prove. Once Wilder does that, then it's like, okay, well, you did offer Fury 50-50. What's going on? Let me get that 50-50, right? And if Wilder beats Fury in decisive fashion, like the way Fury punished him, if Wilder could do the same thing back to Fury, then, hey, you know what? Wilder's back in the driving seat. You know, he can negotiate something that's lovely for him and his family. So, but I don't see an issue in Leonard Ellerbe speaking on, I'm not gonna say on behalf of Wilder, but speaking on that Wilder Fury situation, because I feel like Leonard in some way is connected to Wilder's career. You know, I don't know if it's through PBC or he works directly with Wilder, but he's connected somehow. So to me, I don't see an issue with Leonard actually speaking on that issue. But it's clear as day. I think we've.
All right, just quickly, just to hop in on the point that you said. Doesn't that kind of support what Trill's saying? That because you're right, Leonard has been around Wilder. I've seen Leonard somehow invested in Wilder. So when Leonard makes these statements, couldn't it be perceived as Leonard is speaking for Wilder in the way that Trill's saying?
It's possible. It's possible. But I feel like if I was instructing Wilder, like, let's just be real. We all know Wilder's not the most articulate, right? So he has a hard time explaining himself. When he gets emotional, words don't necessarily make sense. So it makes more sense for other people around him at this current moment to speak on his behalf. Wilder, you just need to focus on the gym, focus on getting your skills up. Let the professionals, let the businessmen, let the promoters do the public talking for you as of right now. Because when he did speak, you know, he was saying all kind of stuff. Fury's not a real champion. I wasn't my real self. Like, all of that sounds foolish. And so I kind of feel like Ellerbe, Al Heyman, Shelley, a lot of people around Wilder's probably like, Wilder's doing more damage to himself than good. So we'll speak on his behalf. He just needs to get 100% so he can win this fight.
This reminds me of the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. When he came back from the military and he couldn't get no respect because his mother kept fighting all his battles. That's Deontay Wilder. Everybody keeps coming to his aid and fighting his battles, and he ain't gonna get no respect until he locks his mother in the closet and go after Mr. Biggs. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing. Listen, all the excuses in the world can't stop the fact that everybody is sticking up for this grown man, and he's not doing no talking. Like Caden so eloquently put it earlier, he has the biggest chance. He could. You don't have to be artistic to say, you know what? I'm gonna kick your butt. You don't need no PR for that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
He got to put his fanboys and all the mouthpieces. He got to lock them in the closet. All right. So I'm gonna make a statement and tell me if you agree with it. Actually, I'm gonna give Wilder some advice and tell me if you agree with it. Wilder, if you so happen to land the right hand and beat Fury, you should immediately enter into a contract to fight Anthony Joshua 50-50. Don't play around. Don't play no games. Don't listen to Shelly Finkel. That's the fight you want. And if they tell you to fight anyone other than Anthony Joshua, it's time for you to bring back Lou DiBella and get it on and popping. Now, here's the other thing. If Joshua says you don't deserve 50-50, there's something you may want to consider, as long as it's not lower than 60-40. But I would say this. If he's offering Fury 50-50 and then Wilder beats him, he should offer Wilder 50-50. And the fight should take place. But Wilder, no more baloney. If you somehow happen to beat Tyson Fury, the time is now. And you don't listen to anyone advising you not to take that fight, doesn't want you to be able to provide for your family in the future. So just your thoughts on that advice for Deontay Wilder. We'll start off with, all right, go ahead, G.
I agree 1,000 with you. I'll say this. If Wilder does pull that off in the trilogy, and Wilder finds a way to back out of that AJ fight, I will officially no longer be supporting Deontay Wilder. Wilder needs to get up in that. You know what I mean? So because if he gets his belt back, this is the opportunity for undisputed. Go for it. You know what I mean? If he does not go for it, I'm telling you, man, I'm done. Like, for real. I'm canceling my Deontay Wilder monthly subscription. You know what I mean? So I need him to take that fight. And I agree with Caden 1000. If they offer you 50-50, take it. If AJ goes, yo, listen, you're not worth 50, I'll give you 40, take that. You know, because at this time, let's just be real, man. Like, both of them aren't getting any younger, right? And there's strong possibilities these guys could lose. We've seen it with Uysk. We've seen it with Fury. Anything can happen in the heavyweight division. We just need to see undisputed, man, before somebody gets a title stripped or anything else, or somebody becomes a franchise champion. You know, I just need to see two men, whether it's AJ and Fury or whether it's Deontay Wilder and Fury. I mean, Deontay Wilder and Joshua. I need to see that fight, man. And so I agree 1,000% with your recommendations for Deontay Wilder.
Trill, you like you had something to say, man.
I was getting ready to say to my bro G, get ready to cut up that Bomb Squad Associations card. Because history has shown us Deontay Wilder doesn't make sound business decisions. And I think for some odd reason, he will find a way to squabble that deal. Even if he wins against Tyson Fury, he'll find a way to mess that up. He'll find a way to you know what? He wouldn't find a way to mess that up. Somebody on his team will find a way to mess that up.
Well, then, if that's the case, he need to leave PBC. I was
but I agree.
I'm in there, you know. So
but I agree. I agree. He deserved it. He deserved 50-50. If they're going to give that to Tyson Fury, right, it will only be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But boxing isn't fair.
That's true.
All right, Ned.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Caden. And that is a big if he beats Tyson Fury. And to piggyback off of what Trill said, Deontay Wilder has a bad history of making bad decisions. And also, G has a history of leaving his fighters. So,
Well, you want to break down that history, Ned? Hey, Ned, you want to
run it down, Ned. Go ahead, run it down. Run it down my history.
Seth Mitchell, Mason Bird, and then we going Wilder.
You, oh man, your logic is just horrible. I respect it, yo. It was funny. It was cute.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Dillian Whyte suing the WBC. Now, we spoke on it, and a lot of people were in our comment sections, basically, in support of Dillian Whyte, which, for the record, we're in support of Dillian Whyte. We're just being real, the timing, what he's looking for, what he's trying to do. So my question is, to the people in the comment section would be, what's the best, realistically, what's the best case scenario for Dillian Whyte as a result of this lawsuit? And so I'm going to turn this one over to G, the new Dillian Whyte advocate on this show, who wasn't with us due to his holdout for a bigger contract. All right, so G, what's your thoughts on Dillian Whyte suing the WBC, and what's the best case scenario for him? What's the best outcome?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know why he's suing, because unless he's suing to have it on the record that you are the mandatory for the next WBC fight, then it's like, what do you want them to do? You know, like, to be honest with you, this is what I think is gonna happen. Yo, they're going to just email him that damn belt. I know we're going to talk about it later, but he's going to get it via email, man. Like, so all he has to do is just be patient, yo. So I get what people are saying, because I did read some of the comments, right? Like, which I do agree. He's been waiting for so long. Yo, it's only right. Like, yeah, we all agree with that, obviously. But we're talking about undisputed here. Do we really want to see Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury over Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua? You get what I'm saying? Like, we want to see the best fight the best. Dillian doesn't even have a belt. You know, it just doesn't make sense. He just has to wait in line. And it's fine to wait. You know, like, Usyk is waiting. Pulev is waiting. You know what I mean? And these guys, they've been waiting. Well, not these guys. Pulev's been waiting for forever for AJ. So you just have to do the very same thing, Dillian. And it's completely fine. Wait until Fury gets it on with either Wilder on the three-peat, and then he fights Joshua. Unless this was the only way I could say this, unless the Fury and Joshua fight falls through, then Dillian, get your shot, right? But as of right now, the world wants to see Undisputed. So you're just gonna have to sit on the sideline and just be patient and just wait. Hopefully, whoever wins, you get next up. Well, I don't know if he's gonna get next because WBO and IBF, I think they got their guys, but I guess maybe, I don't know, man. I'm still trying to think like, what's the purpose of him suing the WBC? Because all they're gonna say is like, okay, you got the mandatory spot, but there's other governing bodies. So like, are you gonna sue the other governing bodies to get a front cut over Pulev and Usyk? I mean, assuming that whoever wins. You know what I mean? Because I think like if Fury does win, this is what I honestly believe in my heart of hearts. Fury will be quick to just let all of those belts go. I don't think he cares about fighting mandatories. He'll just let them belts be dispersed to wherever it goes. AJ, however, I feel like AJ does honor and respect, being undisputed, and so he'll defend his titles. If AJ gets all of the belts, then Dillian, I don't know who Dillian has to negotiate with. I don't know who he has to sue to be next up. So, I don't know, man. It's just me thinking more about it. I get more confused, man. So, like, poor Dillian, bro. Like, I do feel bad.
Me what's the best outcome for Dillian Whyte as a
result? The best outcome
is
to hope that AJ wins so that way he can get the rematch with Anthony Joshua. Because if Fury wins, I don't think Fury's going to give him that shot. I honestly think Fury's just going to say, I don't need these belts. I don't need these mandatories. I already proved to the world that I'm the greatest. Y'all can take my belts. Everyone knows.
Let me just get this straight. It sounds like you're saying the best case scenario he can hope for is to be the first after the fight for Undisputed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like you're saying the best case scenario is for Dillian Whyte.
Because other than that, nobody's going to – you think any course – like, I don't know boxing court, but I don't see anybody saying like, yeah, you know what? Before Fury fights for Undisputed, Fury has to fight you, Dillian. Who's going to say that? Like, who? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't even see WBC. You already know how I think about them. We be cheating. We be the cartel. We be crooks. I don't see them going like, yeah, you know what, Dillian? That makes so much sense. Yeah, you've been waiting for like 1,000 days. You know what? You get the shot before Undisputed. Like, get out of here, man. You know what I mean? Like, so Dillian, all you can do right now is just wait and just hope AJ becomes Undisputed, so that way you can get your shot.
All right, True.
I'm with G. I'm confused. Listen. First of all, we showed Dillian Whyte nothing but love and give Dillian Whyte a lot of press, more press than he would get on other platforms. Poor Dillian. First of all, Dillian had plenty of opportunities to go and fight for the other belts. He didn't want to do it. He wanted the WBC belt. And the WBC belt, time after time, has shown that they don't want him to be the face of their belt. They want a clout chase. It's like in Dillian, right? Since they don't want to play ball with him and they don't want to pick him to play ball, he wants to take his ball and go home. You know? That's making these lawsuits and all that. But for all the people that were so passionate, right, about Dillian Whyte getting a shot, and you feel like, it shouldn't just be poor Dillian, he's bad on his luck. This is what I think he can do. And this is what I think you could do as people. Social media has become the new way of people to express their feelings and get their voice to be heard. How about all you guys who are so passionate about Dillian Whyte? Why don't y'all put some pressure on the WBC or on his promoters and the fans? Just don't talk about it and get and want to debate with us. Won't y'all have a voice too? Won't y'all go and contact these promoters and contact the WBC and put pressure on these guys to give Dillian Whyte his shot? I think that can happen.
I feel you, Trill. Hashtag poor Dillian. You know what I mean?
Hashtag poor Dillian.
All right, Ned.
Yeah, I agree. At this, like, he did. I don't know why it's the WBC so special to Dillian, and maybe you guys can elaborate for me later. But he did have offers to fight Joshua again. He turned it down, and at this point, I really don't know how this the mandatory works, because there's a lot of things that can trump one situation. Like, for instance, Undisputed, they're not gonna force Fury or Wilder after the third fight happens to fight a mandatory fight instead of letting one of the biggest fights in boxing happen. So Dillian just waited out. Sooner or later, your shot's gonna come. You just gotta be patient, stay focused, and stay training. Don't go get the shot and then get whooped, and then now you're just a forgotten tale. It's gonna be poor Dillian for real. It's gonna be damn. He's out of the limelight, out of the picture.
You're going to go from poor Dillian to damn Dillian.
Damn, Dillian.
if he gets the title shot and he loses, it's going to be damn Dillian.
So stop focusing.
That lawsuit, you was the man, Dillian.
Damn, Dillian. For the lawsuit, you was the man.
Oh, we the worst, man.
Yeah. So I just tell Dillian to stay focused on his diet, his training, stop ballooning and ballooning in weight, and just.
No, he's in good shape right now. I saw him.
Good shape right now. I just stay in good shape, build that stamina and endurance, and that's it. That's all I can tell him right now. Keep his eyes on the prize.
It's a very interesting thing because there's a lot of speculation. First, one of the main things I said was I would need to see the documents to know what the lawsuit's about and what it is exactly they're looking to accomplish with this lawsuit. Remember, my issue with it is it's no one's fault that fights are being canceled and events can't take place right now. And as I broke down, in scenarios like that, contracts can be terminated by because it's no fault of anyone. All the parties involved were willing to perform their part of the deal. It's just extenuating circumstances prevented it. So what is the WBC supposed to do? And at this particular time, remember, my issue was with the lawsuit being filed at this particular time. There are a number of defenses that the WBC has at this point. So let's knock down some of the things people said. It's about him not getting a title shot for 1,000 days, right? And UCAD said he tested positive, but he never tested positive with the WBC, right? And so somehow that's Mauricio Sulaiman's fault, right? The WBC, they go off VADA testing. Yes, that is true. But UCAD is also a testing agency. If one testing agency says he tested positive, are they supposed to ignore that? And just say, yeah, because you beat our test. No, people been beating tests since the beginning. There was USADA, then there was VADA, and then there was the clear where all these guys were taking the clear, beating drug tests. So Mauricio Sulaiman can have a legitimate argument that, yes, he never failed a VADA test. However, maybe he beat VADA and UCAD caught him. So I was watching with vested interest for my fighters to make sure he was definitely a clean fighter before I threw him in the ring with anyone. And who could argue with that? What respectable court would say, no, because he passed your test, it's impossible. No, it's happened before. People have beaten one test and failed another test. That's actually how people get caught. So think about that. Your argument is because he passed VADA, Mauricio Sulaiman should let him fight, knowing that he failed UCAD. That's dumb. I'm sorry, I like Dillian Whyte as much as the next person, but if I am Mauricio Sulaiman, my argument is he failed a drug test. He passed VADA. Okay, now he failed UCAD. I'm waiting to see his B sample. I'm waiting to see the results of this. Because the last thing I'm going to do is throw a fighter in the ring who tested positive to fight one of my guys. I want a level playing field. I'm not opening myself up to more lawsuits. Okay, so I knew he tested positive against UCAD, and then I throw him in the ring with the WBC champion. And then I'm opening myself up to more lawsuits. That's one. Now, remember, I'm making the argument for Mauricio Sulaiman because we already know with the Alejandro Jimenez situation, he doesn't really care. So I get where you're coming from, but my point isn't about who he is as a person. It's about arguments you can make in court. So one, his argument's going to be he failed a drug test. It doesn't matter if it was VADA or UCAD. His argument's going to be failed a drug test. And I don't test people. I rely on the agencies. Maybe he beat VADA and UCAD caught him. Oh, he passed VADA and UCAD messed up? Well, Dillian Whyte, shouldn't you sue UCAD? If UCAD was the agency that prevented you from getting your title shot, you should sue UCAD. You shouldn't sue the WBC. If the WBC relied on the findings of UCAD to stop you from getting your title shot, it's UCAD that hurt you and not the WBC. The WBC is going to pass the buck, obviously. We relied on that drug test. And UCAD later came out and said it was a contaminated sample. Will Dillian Whyte suffer a huge detriment as a result of your contaminated sample? UCAD. It would make more sense for him to sue UCAD, one. Now, two, the WBC. Fury and Deontay Wilder are contractually obligated to have a third fight because Deontay Wilder exercised his right to the trilogy. So what is Fury supposed to do? Fury won the belt off Wilder. Wilder's going for his rematch. So bam, they fight. So it's Dillian Whyte saying, after that fight, I should be the very next fight and not Anthony Joshua. It's cute. But now they have a contract for that too. So now what's going to happen is I'm in contract to fight Anthony Joshua. The money that's going to be made, the revenue that's going to be generated. When Floyd Mayweather went to jail, I think it was after the Cotto fight. I'm not sure which fight. I think it was after the Cotto fight. He already took a plea deal, and he was going to jail. For the average man, you take that plea deal, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. But Floyd Mayweather having a fight was so important to the economy of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Exactly.
That Floyd still had his fight in a few days before he turned himself in to serve his bid. Do you not understand some things are bigger than you? When LeBron James left Cleveland, the economy of that city tanked. Yes. That's why when he came back, they welcomed him with open arms. You got to understand some things are bigger than just a fight. And lastly, for this fight, Fury versus Joshua or Wilder versus Joshua is very important for this one reason. It will align the titles and the lineal status for the first time since Lennox Lewis retired. It will actually create the man. And even after that fight, whoever wins the fight for Undisputed, say they have a rematch. Because that's the other thing. Best case scenario for Dillian is to get the winner of the rematch. But let's say they do that fight and they have a rematch. We have the guy now. And say Fury wins, or say Joshua wins, and they decide, I don't want to have to deal with mandatory anymore. I'm going to vacate a belt. I'm going to vacate the WBC. I'm going to vacate. They choose whatever belt they want to keep and vacate the other belts. Dillian, go fight for one of those belts. But we need the guy. We need all the status aligned. To me, that's more important than Dillian Whyte getting the shot. And I'm not disrespecting Dillian Whyte because I think he deserves a shot. I think Dillian Whyte's been screwed over. But there's so much on the line between Joshua and Fury. Or if Wilder was somehow to pull it off, Wilder and Joshua, for the sport of boxing, for the history of the titles, the lineal status, all that coming together. That's what's important to me. Dillian Whyte getting his shot. He can get it. he actually had it with Anthony Joshua, and people make excuses. Oh, the money wasn't right. Oh, it wasn't this. You don't always get the perfect scenario, bro. Sometimes people have mouths to feed and a family to support, so they take whatever job comes their way. And if they don't take that job, they starve. Dillian, you had the title shot. You turned it down. It wasn't the WBC. It wasn't Deontay Wilder. It was a rematch with Anthony Joshua, but you turned it down. So best case scenario for Dillian Whyte, to me, is he gets the title shot after the rematch between the fight for Undisputed. But he probably should sue UCAD if this is about him losing a title shot because of the false positive. So,
no, you know what? After you just brought up that point about UCAD, I don't even believe this dude is really suing to actually get a fight. I honestly just believe this is all just a marketing ploy to stay relevant, because it doesn't make sense. Like, why not sue UCAD? You know, seeing that they're the one that cost you this. This is all smoke and mirrors, man. Like, yo, it kind of reminds me of Dillian, and I promise you, Dillian, I like you. I do. But it's
he's
still
going back. He's going back.
It's
Dillian, everybody.
It just bothers me because it was kind of like, I remember when they were like, all right, yo, you want to be mandatory, fight Ortiz. And I remember Dillian going, Ortiz, he's old and he doesn't speak English, right? Next thing you know, now I see him, though, he's about to fight Povetkin. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bruh, Povetkin is old and he doesn't speak English. So what are you talking about? You know, and not to mention, I think Ortiz would have been an easier fight for Dillian. Actually, no. Let me stop lying. They're about even. But pretty much what I'm saying is, he had his opportunity even with the WBC. He chose to not do it. He had his opportunity with the IBF. He chose not to do it. He had an opportunity to have 4 belts with Anthony Joshua. He chose not to do it. So to me, it's kind of like, all right, bro, like you get more chances than anybody else. I don't know who's worse, him or Deontay Wilder, when it comes to getting opportunities with AJ. You know, like, both of these guys are bad. And so to me, man, I might just, you know what? I was going to support the hashtag Poor Dillian movement, but I'm going to have to fall back, man. You know what I mean? This is, I can't support this brother, man. I'm on some hashtag.
He's back to hating on Dillian.
I'm on my hashtag. Y'all can stay on the Poor Dillian. I'm going to be on the damn.
I do think it's Poor Dillian because I do think the WBC wronged him. I don't think he needed to fight Luis Ortiz when they demanded it. I think by that point he had already earned the shot. But the lawsuit is a day late and $1 too short, is my argument. You should have had that lawsuit a long time ago. You should have brought that lawsuit out before the pandemic hit. Now they have so many defenses they never had before. Mauricio Sulaiman of the WBC is going to use the pandemic. They're going to use the inability to generate maximum profits. They're going to use the fact that he tested positive for a test. They're going to use all those things against him. And it's just like, you know, Dillian, this wasn't the time for the lawsuit. The time for the lawsuit, you didn't file it.
I don't think he's trying to win anything. That's why I'm thinking this is all just for marketing purposes, because he knows he's not going to win. Like, we just stated so many things, so many strikes against him, that I think he knows that. And he's well aware of that. I think he's just doing this literally to be like, oh, I had to take him to court. They're doing me wrong so that he can get the pity vote. That's what it is. He just wants the world to be like, damn, yo, give that man a shot, man. Yo, AJ, stop playing. You know, that's what they want. Fury, yo, please, man, give that dude his opportunity. That's what it really is. I don't see him really going like, I'm suing to force them to give me the next fight. He knows he not next. He know AJ next. Like, yo, come on, bro. Stop it, man. This is just crazy. The only way, now this is where I'll give an argument. And even though I can't now, because Eddie Hearn already secured the bag for AJ anyways with this potential fight. Because I was like, if Wilder doesn't fight Fury next, let's just say Wilder's injuries are too severe or whatever, and they just can't get a fight, I was like, maybe that could be an opportunity. That's your window. But because AJ and Fury already agreed to terms to be the next step after their required fights, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just screwed. You know what I mean? So
AJ's still injured too, because I haven't seen AJ out walking about.
Yeah.
anything either. So I just
AJ out here crip walking, looking all limp. You know what I mean? So
I think it depends unless he knows AJ's injury is more serious. But we're gonna move on from this. We can stay on this for a long time, but we got to move on to the next topic.
Thank
I
you.
just want to say,
Thank you.
we always
Enough
give
of poor
Dillian-
Dillian.
Well, this Dillian is the next topic, Trill. So it's still poor
be
Dillian.
back on it. Hashtag poor Dillian. Let's go.
the
It's
Dillian
still-
segment.
It's still poor Dillian. All right, so I'll start from right here. This is an article from World Boxing News, and it's comments made by Frank Warren. And so basically it says Warren has now come out in support of Whyte, stating the body snatcher should certainly look a lot closer to home for his troubles. Asked whether he'd consider Whyte as an opponent for Daniel Dubois, Warren wasted no time in saying absolutely, but says he understands Dillian's frustration at not getting a world title shot. Whyte has been mandatory with the WBC for 331 days, even longer as the number one before that. The Hall of Fame promoter said, it's incredible what's happened with him, really. He was ranked number one with the WBO for God knows how long. He was ranked number one with the WBC too. And he's just not got the fights. If I were him, I'd be asking the question, why hasn't my promoter been able to get me those fights? He's on about suing the WBC. World Boxing News understand that is not the case yet, but they don't seem to be the problem. It's remarkable, really. I can't think of another British fighter who's been left out to dry as much as him. He was in the same stable as the WBO champion and still couldn't get a shot. You can see why he's upset. He doesn't feel he's been looked after. At this point, Dillian must be wondering if he's ever going to get a shot over there. Warren was clear if Whyte was fighting under his banner, the situation would be different. If Dillian was with me, he would have fought for a world title by now. So the question I pose to everyone, and I'm going to start it off with Trill, is if Dillian Whyte was with Frank Warren, would he have gotten his title shot by now?
He already got his title shot. We just talked about him. Him turning it. Poor Dillian. Poor Dillian. No matter what, no matter who he's with, who he riding with, whoever's going to pick up tacos, no. Poor Dillian. He's never going to get it. 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 Nah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Never gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Poor Dillian. And they going, how can somebody say we don't like Dillian? We gonna give you 2 hours of Dillian. You know what I'm saying?
The Trill's crazy.
All right, Ned, go ahead, Ned. What you got?
Man, we gave Dillian so much press in the past couple of weeks. It's crazy, man. But Dillian, you already know our stance on it, man. I feel I'm in your fight. I'm in your corner, but I just want to see you win. But damn, Dillian, do what you what Frank Warren said, it should sign him. If that can help him get a fight or get him in the ring, who knows? But Dillian, you had your opportunity with AJ. You turned it down. You turned that second fight down, and we all saw it. What was it? When Gerald Miller fell out, they were looking for somebody. They did offer him. He said no, he didn't want it. So for that, like, come on, Dillian. Like, it's with all the evidence they just provided against you, what G just provided against you, it's like, come on, Dillian. You know what you got to do, man. But I'm over it.
Hey, listen. For me, it's a number of things. Frank Warren is easy to talk when you don't have to do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for starters, Dillian Whyte got a fight with Anthony Joshua before. So let's just be clear. Anthony Joshua was the WBO champion, yes, but he got that shot because he beat Dillian. Eddie Hearn did get him a fight against Anthony Joshua. He did fight Anthony Joshua. They fought each other. Let's go back to that fight. And hypothetically, let's say Dillian Whyte wins that fight. Dillian Whyte may be in the same position that Anthony Joshua's in right now. So first, it all stems to the fact that when they first met as professionals, Anthony Joshua won the fight. And Dillian Whyte came into that fight very cocky because of his performance when they were amateurs. So I remember that. There was bad blood. Dillian Whyte was very cocky, got in the ring with Anthony Joshua and thought he was going to beat him again and got sparked out. That's what I remember seeing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the footage would support that. So Joshua beat Dillian already. And then he got a title shot shortly after that fight. Okay? So you have to take into consideration that Eddie Hearn did give him the opportunity to set him up for a title shot. And that's one. Now, two, Frank Warren promotes Tyson Fury. So Eddie Hearn has been trying to get Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte for the longest time. So how would Frank Warren somehow have got Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte in a way that Eddie Hearn couldn't have done it? Please let me know. You mean to tell me Eddie Hearn wasn't doing his job to try to get the last Infinity Stone to Matchroom Boxing? You're kidding yourself, Frank Warren. He was trying to get Dillian Whyte to fight with Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder himself said, I could freeze you out for 2 years. I don't got to give you the fight. He was advocating for Dillian Whyte to get a shot at the WBC title. So stop it. But Frank Warren, you somehow got Tyson Fury to get a shot at the WBC title, but Tyson Fury isn't Dillian. The same guy who refused to fight Dillian Whyte agreed to fight Tyson Fury. So how are you going to take the same guy and get Deontay Wilder to agree to fight him? That's what I want to know. That's the $1 million question. Frank Warren, tell me what you were going to do differently than Eddie Hearn that was going to get Deontay Wilder to agree to fight the Dillian Whyte. Because you already know why I think Deontay Wilder agreed to fight Tyson Fury, because he was coming off the layoff, because he had to lose over 150 pounds, because he was having a good time in ways that was bad for your body prior to coming back to the sport. So that's why I think Deontay Wilder said, I'll fight him and take that lineal heavyweight status from him because of all those things. But he never agreed to fight Dillian Whyte. And you implying that it's somehow Eddie Hearn's fault is a joke, because he had another shot at the WBO and other titles, the IBF and the WBA, and he turned it down. So Eddie Hearn got him a shot at the WBO. He turned it down. He got him a second. He offered him a rematch with Joshua. Dillian Whyte turned it down. And Deontay Wilder never accepted a fight with Dillian Whyte. Here's my last question for Frank Warren, or for anyone believing that Frank Warren would have somehow did things differently. Who would you have rather fight Deontay Wilder if given a chance? If you had Tyson Fury in your stable and you had Dillian Whyte in your stable, would you really have advocated for Dillian Whyte over Tyson Fury? I don't believe you. All right, so like we can.
Oh, y'all forgot about me, man.
Oh, you didn't go?
Nah. But
I got you out, right, G. Oh, my bad. I thought I went last.
I thought you started it off.
Yeah.
Shame on y'all, man. See, this is what I'm talking about. That's why Frank had to renegotiate my deal. Y'all was
see, that's why G's not impartial right now. Go ahead, G.
I will say this though, right? There's a main something you actually I thought you was gonna bring up, but you didn't. Frank Warren's talking all that beefy stuff, but Tyson Fury himself said, "I'm not even gonna fight Dillian." So it's like, bruh, you talking about you're throwing shade on Eddie Hearn's name because Eddie can't secure a fight with Dillian. But Frank, your own fighter right now saying he's not even going to give Dillian Whyte a shot. So it's kind of like, can you really secure a bag for Dillian right now? Can you really get Dillian a title shot? I don't think so. And so this is really, I think Frank Warren is just bringing smoke to Eddie Hearn. I think he's just trying to cause division amongst Dillian and Eddie, possibly even Eddie and DAZN. You know what I mean? He could be doing a number of things, but we all know Frank Warren's just playing games right now, because I don't even see Dillian Whyte fighting Tyson Fury if Tyson Fury becomes undisputed. I think Tyson Fury undisputed, He'd be like, oh, really? I got to fight Dillian? Oh, for real? Y'all can have my WBC belt. That's what's going to happen.
All right. Gee, I apologize, man. I thought you went already. I don't want another holdout. All right, so we're gonna move on to a story from Bad Left Hook. Share the screen. And basically, I'll just summarize this. Tyson Fury could be bumped to WBC champion. Mauricio Suleiman said he's in the process of reaching out to all of his champions. And it's believed that he'll reach out to Tyson Fury, who's already expressed he has no interest in fighting Dillian Whyte. And what Mauricio Suleiman is, what they're saying is they may elevate Tyson Fury to franchise champion and then either have Dillian Whyte fight someone for the WBC title or, WBC style, send it to him through email. So my question is, would you be okay with the WBC making Tyson Fury a franchise champion? G, what are your thoughts on that?
I already explained this before. If they make Tyson Fury franchise champion and they hand Dillian Whyte that belt, Dillian Whyte needs to throw that belt in the trash because it's worthless. It means literally nothing. But what I do think what they will do is they'll provide him that after Undisputed. I don't think they'll give it to him beforehand because then, there's always going to be that lingering question, is this person actually undisputed if, in fact, they have the franchise belt as opposed to the WBC world belt, right? So I think they're probably already in negotiations like, hey, yo, Tyson Fury, if you become undisputed, we will change your belt from the regular to franchise and then just give it to Dillian. And I think that's what they're going to do. So that's going to be a hashtag poor Dillian situation where they're just going to hand you a belt that's worthless.
Yo, that's the first, maybe not the first, probably like the second time you come up with a conspiracy that I agree with.
I'm telling you, it's so disrespectful. Like, yo, stop crying, yo. Here, take that. Like he's just gonna open up his email like, hey, like, you got mail. You know what I mean? He checks on it. He's like, damn, son, they just emailed it to me. That's crazy. Like, so that's what I honestly think is gonna happen. Tyson Fury's gonna be, if first and foremost, I'm rooting for AJ, but let's just say Tyson Fury becomes undisputed. Boom, Tyson Fury becomes undisputed. WBC goes, hey, congratulations, Tyson Fury. Here's this thing that we got. It's called the franchise belt. You can have it. All right, let's get the regular belt. Hey, Dillian Whyte, guess what? Boom, now you're the WBC champ. You can't hate on us anymore. But to me, that's like the ultimate sign of disrespect, And so I just want to see the best fight the best, man. If Fury becomes undisputed, we as fans should force Fury to fight all his mandatories, including Dillian Whyte. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, true.
This is serious. This was a serious question. This is horrible. This is horrible. WBC, we be coming up with BS. That's what it is. This is crazy. First of all, everybody knows I only think there should be one franchise champion in boxing right now, and his name is Saul Canelo Alvarez. To me, that's the only person in boxing right now should be franchise champion. We be counting cash. That's what the WBC.
I like that one.
Counting cash. As they say, right, you want the belt? Pay for it. We'll just elevate Tyson Fury. You can pay for the belt, and we'll have Amazon drop it off overnight delivery. Especially if you got Amazon Prime.
They got Prime. They ain't worried about it.
Especially if they got Prime. When you wake up, it will be on your doorstep, Dillian. If you want it that bad. Hopefully you don't want it that bad. But to this point now, poor Dillian, and no, they better not make Tyson Fury no franchise champion. They just made these belts is. This is why certain fighters don't respect belts.
Mm-hmm.
This is why certain fighters don't respect belts. You already got 75 belts out on the same weight class, and you're gonna make more belts. This is crazy. You got a bronze belt, a silver belt, a titanium belt, platinum belt, diamond belts. You guys are crazy. You know what I'm saying? These guys are crazy. No, I'm totally against it. Fight Dillian when the time is right. After we already talked about, we still talking about Dillian. I told you we support Dillian. We like Dillian. We're gonna give y'all 4 hours. It's gonna be part 4, the Dillian Express.
4 Dillian editions. You know what I mean?
This is the Dillian edition of the podcast.
If anything, we should be Dillian's defense team.
Yeah, this should be the episode called. It should be the hashtag Poor Dillian edition. You know.
Hey Ned, what you got?
Man, this just sounds like a whole lot of like they're watering. The WBC is just gonna water down their belts, man. It just sounds crazy, honestly. At this point, what is a franchise champion if that's the case? Like, what does this mean for Undisputed? What is it? What's gonna happen with boxing? Like, we're looking forward to this big fight where all these titles come together, and now you come in and now you're talking about they're gonna implement the franchise heavyweight champion. And now what does that mean? What does that do? How significant is that? Like, should we respect it as fans? Should boxers respect it? Like, it's a whole bunch of nonsense, and I don't get it. I really don't understand why it's happening. And
I mean, but Ned, they're doing the same thing in the lightweight division right now.
I know.
So it's like, is it undisputed? Like, is Teofimo versus Lomachenko undisputed fight, or is it not? You know, like,
It sucks for Teofimo because it should be.
it's crazy now. You know what I mean? There's literally too many belts. Like, Trill is 100% right on this one.
So that's because the WBC, we be chilling. They don't care. They make belts on the fly. They probably make it at the crib. Like, who need a belt? You need a belt? He need a belt. They Oprah with the belts.
We be counterfeit.
You get a belt. You get a belt.
We be counterfeit. I like that one. That was a good one. We be counterfeit chips.
Hey, so listen. For me, like, and once again, you can't be honest anymore, and you can't be objective, because once you're honest and objective, you don't like someone. But I like Tyson Fury as much as the next man, but he's the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world with 0 title defenses. First time he won the belt, he didn't defend it, and he just won the belt right now, and he's never defended it. So how are you going to elevate a man to franchise status when he's never had any title defenses? I mean, as much as I'll point out, I think Wilder's technique is bad. I think he's limited as a fighter, but he at least had 9 against 9 stiffs, but he had 9. Fury has none. And I'm not saying that Fury couldn't defend it. I'm not saying Fury's not good enough to defend it. I'm just saying he doesn't have a history of defending it that would support making him franchise champion. When you made Canelo franchise champion, he had a history of moving up in weight, defending titles. He had a portfolio that you can defend making him franchise champion. How do you defend making Tyson Fury franchise champion? How? He's a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. He won it in 2015, never defended. And then he won it again in 2020. Never defended it. How can you make someone a franchise when they never defended the belt? The franchise is supposed to mean this guy is a franchise. This guy has a long-standing history of excellence as a champion. Fury has literally no history. 0 title defenses. He might be the only one in history, now that I think about it, to be.
Nope. Lomachenko, same thing.
2-time champ with no title defense.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Lomachenko didn't defend the WBC. He won it and gave it up like a month later.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the history of boxing, the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world with 0 title defenses. I don't know if that's ever happened. Look at that. He's a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world with 0 title defenses.
That's crazy.
Put another notch under his belt.
Yeah.
I respect it, though. That's an ill act.
He did defend the lineal, though. He did defend the lineal.
What?
The lineal title, he did defend that.
That's with how that's fictional.
That's you know what? I'm agreeing to give him lineal because I want it all aligned. But if you want to be real, lineal ended with Lennox Lewis.
Exactly.
True. And didn't he retire? Didn't Tyson Fury retire? When he got stripped of the belts, he went on. He retired.
He got suspended.
He got suspended, bro.
Got suspended.
Don't fall for that, man.
All right.
He got suspended.
See, now we about to have a bunch of Fury fans about to violate us on this.
That's my point. Like you can't speak objectively anymore. You can't be impartial. You can't just speak the truth. But I'm going to speak the truth because I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. There isn't enough there to elevate Tyson Fury to a franchise champion. He doesn't have the history to support it. I think Fury's a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. And there would have been more of an argument for Wilder because at least he had the smoke and mirrors of all these title defenses. And he was 1 title defense away from tying Muhammad Ali's record. But you have Tyson Fury who has no title defenses. So how are you going to make him a franchise champion? In addition to that, it's the first time he's ever been the WBC champion. So he's literally just won the WBC title. You would be making a man who won the belt with no defenses franchise champion after his first fight. You talk about losing credibility. So here's why I do agree with G, though. If Tyson Fury does beat Deontay Wilder, and then he goes on to beat Anthony Joshua and he becomes undisputed, then they would have a legitimate argument for making him franchise champion. They'll make him franchise champion and say, Dillian Whyte, congratulations. You are now the WBC regular champion. We are honored. And then that would negate his lawsuit and do everything, and the world would see him as a paper champion.
Thank you. That's like an insult, man.
That's my point. What is his end game? Because you got to understand what's going to happen. They'll just give you the title. Even what G's saying now, just out of spite. If Fury beats Deontay Wilder in the rematch, franchise still have the Joshua Fury fight, right? And then the winner of that fight can fight Dillian Whyte to become undisputed later. Like Dillian, you know, even if Wilder beats Fury, franchise Wilder, give Dillian the belt, and Wilder fight Joshua. Still, like, as much as I like Dillian Whyte as much as the next man, listen. I love boxing. I just tell the truth and keep it real. Listen, Dillian Whyte is in a position where it's very difficult for him to achieve a victory because he's not the money man. He's not the guy people want to see. And until that's the case, it's going to be very easy for fighters to avoid a fight with him because there's always a more lucrative option. It may even be more lucrative to fight Alexander Usyk than it is to fight Dillian Whyte.
Oh, definitely. Everybody will. Yeah.
And so, like, it's just one of those things. It sucks, you know, and that's why it's hashtag poor Dillian.
We already see Dillian lose. We haven't seen Usyk go up against Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. That's like enticing. You want to see that. Like, yo, can this little guy like take over the heavyweight division of giants? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's a storyline. Dillian, it's like, yo, come on, fam. Like, nah, man. But I like you, Dillian. I really do.
Let's move on because Trill is throwing a tantrum deep inside. All right, we're moving on to the next topic, which is Eddie Hearn
And Dillian Whyte. No, I'm playing.
I'm shitting this off.
Trills up. We done gave him 5 hours. All right.
5 hours of Dillian.
True, man. I thought Dillian was your guy. All right, so Eddie Hearn says that Joshua versus Fury won't be 50 pounds on pay-per-view. So it was rumored that Joshua versus Fury was going to cost UK fans $50 per pay-per-view. And so Eddie Hearn maintains that the value of Joshua Fury battle will be no higher than £29.95, 29 pounds and 95 cents, which comes out to $37 in America. So the UK fans were outraged. They anticipated they would raise the price. They spoke. Eddie Hearn responded, the fight won't be more than 30 pounds. Trill, what's your thoughts on this?
See, that's the power of the people. Hate to bring up this guy again, but Dillian Whyte, you see what the people can do? If your fans, I'm talking about real fans, if they really wanted to make some noise for you, they can. The people. If you really want to, make some picket signs. Go to the go to Solomon's house with picket signs. Pour Dillian signs. That's what you need. Because, they listen to the people.
Bro, we would start the Poor Dillian movement if it was time. If it was time, we would start the Poor Dillian movement. If it wasn't Joshua and Wilder, we would be the leaders of Poor Dillian movement.
We would be there. And you'll see me. I'll have the picket sign with the shirt. You know what I'm saying? Poor Dillian.
Poor Dillian. You know what I mean?
Hashtag Poor Dillian. It'll be crazy. We'll have it. All the rappers doing it.
We be at the fight. We be there.
We the worst.
Nah, but Troy, you still give your thoughts on Eddie Hearn confirming that the pay-per-view price won't be more than 30 pounds and
okay. I think it's awesome. And I think that the fact that Eddie Hearn is listening to the people and he realized with everything going on in the world, I think Eddie is smooth for that. Eddie is smooth. I've been saying this. He's learned on the job, so you got to give Eddie. I don't know why they keep booing Eddie Hearn anyway. You know what I'm saying? At all his fights, Eddie puts on the best shows, and they still boo Eddie. You know what I'm saying? That's like you throwing a party.
Cheers, Eddie should take that as cheers, though.
Yeah, I know. That's like, you know what I'm saying? You throwing a party and you cook a big dinner. Everybody eats the dinner, and leaves crumbs, no crumbs or nothing, licks the plate, and then be like, it was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. You know what I'm saying? Show Eddie some love. You know what I'm saying? I think that was dope on Eddie's part.
All right, G.
Yeah, I think, that's first. I'll say this. Shout out to the UK, man, because when I see the $37, I was like, golly, man, I'll be paying $75. You know what I mean? So I'm like, 37. That's a come up. But in regards to, let me say something about what Trill was saying in regards to like Eddie Hearn getting booed and stuff like that. I remember I was like on a couple of websites. They were like, the reason why they were booing him is because they blamed Eddie for the AJ Wilder fight not happening. So that was like people's way of like forcing Eddie to make that fight happen. So I think that's what the people are saying online. You know what I mean? So so it is what it is when it comes to Eddie. But I will say this: the fact that it's $37, it makes me wonder, because I believe that fight should be in the UK. You know what I mean? And so I hope Eddie isn't thinking, well, we'll just bring it to Saudi Arabia again, when these are the two biggest like UK fighters right now. That should be in Wembley.
Yeah, but bro, Tyson Fury don't have a license in the UK. Remember, Tyson Fury don't have a license in the UK, and they were looking to suspend him because the farmer for the wild boar meat was saying that he lied, saying that he supplied Tyson Fury and all, and then with all that madness, so you got to keep that.
That's the point. All right, well, you know what? It is what it is. Saudi Arabia, it is. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I can say, man. Hey, if Eddie, if it's in Saudi Arabia, Eddie definitely don't care about them pay-per-view numbers because they're gonna get the bag early regardless. They're gonna get that Sultan money, so they good.
All right, Ned.
Man, I'm outraged with Eddie Hearns, man. I read that. I thought we was going to get the fight for $37 in America. I was like, that's a come up. Who's mad about this?
Bro, you know we got the zone.
We can get it for free.
We get it for free. I was about to say, I'm like, they don't got the zone in the UK? The zone's not promoted in the UK?
It's like, yo, I'm mad. Make us pay more.
I can't hear you, G.
The zone's for the US.
I didn't know that.
They just pay pay-per-view through Matchroom and stuff in the UK.
Matchroom? All right. Well, you know.
No, but you know what? Just to say, Bob Arum is involved in this, and Bob Arum does some legal stuff. Like, because, you know, we have ESPN Plus, but when Terrence Crawford fought Amir Khan, you had to pay additional money to watch that fight. And I remember thinking, I'm not paying additional money to see this garbage. That's one of the reasons why the pay-per-view numbers were so low for that fight. It was like, you're already bringing us junk, to quote Larry Merchant, and then you want us to pay for it? Yeah. So I could see Larry Merchant I could see Bob Arum creating a situation where he does try to get American fans to pay money to watch the fight.
I know. So, yeah. Since it's Tyson Fury, since it's what's it, Fox? Don't they have a split in this?
The zone. It's ESPN and the zone.
ESPN, my bad. You know, I was all over the place in my head. But ESPN, wouldn't they have a pay-per-view split or say in the paper, like post having it on pay-per-view?
That's literally what I just said, bro.
Yeah. So UK, y'all got it good, man. Y'all tripping over $37, man. We're probably gonna pay $100 for this fight if it's on pay-per-view over here. So
we're not paying $100 because it doesn't contain an American fighter. So we'll probably pay. I don't know what type of price they would put. I'm not even going to try to anticipate. They're going to have their people do some G stuff with the Nielsen report and all that, and come up.
I will say this: Tyson Fury is known in the U.S., so the zone might be able to pull it off and be like, y'all gotta pay an additional $40 to watch that fight. It might happen, and then to be honest with you, it makes sense, especially seeing that they were just crying about losing so much bread. Hopefully they can, recruit some of their investments in all of these boxes that they're trying to scoop up.
It sounds like America's gonna have to pay for this fight.
I mean, I'm being honest with you. If I was the CEO of the zone, I'd definitely research the possibilities. Like, can we pull it off? Like, if we charge 40, if we charge 20, like, what would be that threshold where people would be like, yo, all right, I'll pay that, but I'm not paying this, So it's worth a shot.
I think a few things to factor in, especially in America. If they're going to have the fight in Saudi Arabia, it's going to take place at a time that isn't prime time in the United States of America. So you want to try to charge $40 for a fight that's not going to be prime time? I don't know if that's the smartest idea. Also, you want people to watch the fight, but you can't overestimate people's enthusiasm for this fight. As a diehard boxing fan and someone who's watched sport my whole life, I'd pay for it. But you have to look at the casual fan and say, how much do they really value Fury versus Joshua to invest in watching that fight in the United States of America? And that's a realistic thing. And I think $40 is too high. Even people in the UK where Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are from are saying £50 is too much.
That's crazy.
Now you're talking about the US. If you think £50 is too much in the UK, I guarantee you $40 is too much in the United States of America.
Yeah, it's a bad time right now in boxing. Man. Yeah, that's why I should have been Wilder versus AJ. Just saying.
Less people would watch.
Charge $100 for that fight. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, right. All right, we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is Alexander Usyk and Derek Ward Chisora, according to an article from Boxing News 24, it is set to take place in October. And as you can see for the people, this article was written on June 20th. And according to the article, Alexander Usyk will be facing a tough hurdle and seasoned veteran Derek Chisora this October, according to promoter Eddie Hearn. So, according to Eddie Hearn, this fight is going to take place sometime in October. G, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I want to see, Usyk up against, the gatekeeper of the heavyweight division. Because I just want to know if he can handle the power. Hey, I'm just saying, I just want to know if he can handle, the power of a heavyweight, and I just want to see his performance now, because when he first got in, he gained a lot of weight, but it didn't seem like it was muscle. And so he didn't have the best performance when he debuted in the heavyweight division. Now he has enough time. I'm assuming he's been training daily. He got his weight under control. He put on like lean muscle for this fight. I think it's gonna be good, man. I still don't think I like Chisora. Let me just say that. I still don't think he's a real test in comparison to Anthony Joshua, but at least it will show me if in fact Usyk could take a heavyweight punch or two. So yeah, I'm looking forward for that fight in October.
True.
I'm with G. I'm looking forward to the fight in October. I'm glad Chisora didn't have to get lubed up. You're going to be in there in the boxing match, So I'm all for it. And I got a lot of questions.
Want that, though, Trill. What you talking about?
You say Chisora might have wanted that?
Yeah, Chisora still might want that. You never know.
Stay off your back, Chisora. Stay off your back, brother. I think I have a lot of questions for you, sir. And I think Chisora can answer some of those. Can he take a punch from a real solid heavyweight? Would he be able to, perform against a Chisora? Or and with the other elite heavyweights? I wouldn't consider Chisora one of the elite heavyweights, but he's up there. But if he gets punched by Chisora, we're going to definitely see what type of chin that Usyk has.
Exactly.
We know he's great at cruiserweight, but this is different. This is different. And you can get knocked out by somebody that is not even popping in the heavyweight division. All it takes is one punch. So if Chisora can land the right punch, we don't know. So this answers a lot of questions for me.
All right, Ned.
Yeah, I really think this fight is gonna be a really entertaining fight. First, I can't wait for when they start promoting it, when the press conferences start happening, and I think it's just gonna be really dope, just to see that part of the fight. But I think this fight is gonna be a big challenge for Usyk, because Chisora already said he's not gonna come in there to box. He's coming in there, he's gonna eat whatever punches he gotta eat to land that shot. So I just want to see this fight. I want to see if Usyk could stand up to not the abuse. What am I looking for? Just the tenacity of Chisora. Seeing if he could take on those type of tactics in the heavyweight division, and it's gonna be just dope. Let's get it. Can't wait for October to come around, and we're all watching this fight and laughing and screaming. Probably it's gonna be highlights for the century.
Derek Ward Chisora, listen, man. Derek Ward Chisora. Thank God for Chisora. That's all I can say. Mm-hmm. Chisora is what boxing is all about, baby. Chisora is gonna come in there and try to knock you out, or he's gonna get knocked out. And those are my kind of guys. That's why I used to like little Vic Darchinyan, because I knew someone was getting knocked out. He was a little guy, but Vic didn't come in there to play those games. Vic, he wasn't trying to throw 1,000 punches and go to the no. It's you or me. and that's Derek
Listen,
Ward Chisora. Huh?
Victor Archinian, the type of mindset he had. Listen, a lot of fighters, I wish they had that type of mindset of Victor Archinian. Victor Archinian was headstrong. You know what I'm saying?
Too much though. He played around too much. That was my only thing with Vic. Play around too much.
He kept his head down too low because he was like, listen, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you. You know what I'm saying?
But Derek Ward Chisora is one of those guys, and I think people like him. And we say, like, we've never seen a gatekeeper with so much fans and so much love. It's just because the type of person that he is. He's the type of person that gives everything in the ring. And you can respect that, win, lose, or draw. He's going to give you everything he's got. And he's already said he only needs to land one punch. And I know where he's coming from. He's coming from the perspective that Alexander Usyk is coming up from cruiserweight. He's a smaller heavyweight. He saw his fight with Chaz Witherspoon, and he's saying, I can eat this guy's punches, but he's not going to be able to take mine. That's his mindset. Usyk's going to have to change his mind. Also, Usyk is looking to see if he can become Evander Holyfield. He's undisputed cruiserweight champion, moving up to heavyweight. He's the first realistic prospect that we've seen since Evander Holyfield that we think, well, maybe this guy can pull it off. Now, he's a phenomenal athlete, good footwork, good technique. I just feel like the heavyweights in the division at this particular point in time, like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, even Deontay Wilder, you're talking about guys who are 6'6", 6'7", 6'9", tremendous power. And people call Tyson Fury pillow fist, but he got Wilder out of there. And there's been enough people who corroborated that Tyson Fury has pop. Like even Malik Scott said before he had Wilder bleeding out the ear, Malik Scott said he sparred Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury busted both of his eardrums in sparring. So Tyson Fury, he got to have some pop in those hands. And then you have a guy like Alexander Usyk, who's smaller, coming up from cruiserweight division. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull off what Evander Holyfield did. But if he falls short, you got to respect someone like him for even stepping in the ring with those giants because he's testing himself. He could have easily stayed at cruiserweight and said, I'm the man here, and anybody who wants a piece of me has to come through cruiserweight. But he decided, I'm not going to Triple G this situation. I'm going to dare to be great. I'm going to step it up. And so that's why I have so much respect for Usyk. I can't wait to see how he does against Chisora. It is a very dangerous fight, in my opinion. Because if he fights the way he did against Witherspoon, I think Derek Chisora is going to knock him out.
I'm digging everything you saying, brother, and I agree with you 1,000,000%, except for the whole Malik Scott. I don't care about nothing Malik Scott got to say.
Hey, listen.
For the right check, he'll say anything. You know what I'm saying?
I got to check on Malik. I haven't checked on Malik in a while. I got to check on Malik, man. Make sure Malik is all right. All right, so the next thing we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, the podcast, statements made by Nate Jones. For those of you who don't know who Nate Jones is, he's the brother who was on the Olympic team with Floyd, and he always has on the bodysuit, and Floyd is just going to town, man, on the body. And so Nate Jones basically said that Conor McGregor called him and offered him $1.5 million to leave the money team and join Team McGregor before the fight with Floyd. And Nate Jones said that he hung up the phone. So it's an interesting story. Trill, what's your thoughts on that?
Interesting story. I thought you was gonna go right in there and start from the top. We know Nate. We know Nate from back in the days. Nate was a promising heavyweight. He was gonna be a promising heavyweight, I believe. He was on the Olympic team with Floyd. When he turned professional, things just didn't go well for him. But he went into a dark place. He was in a dark place. This is the things I don't want to get into it, but I can't wait when we rate Floyd Mayweather because we can bring up different things about Floyd. But Nate was going through a dark time in his life, and Floyd called him up and told him to come rock with him. You know what I'm saying? And he'll take care of him. And he's been with Floyd ever since. And that's been like his best friend. I remember when he was talking about Floyd, he broke down in the tears, talking about how Floyd was there for him and what he has done for him. So, of course, when a McGregor, after all that, right? Of course, when a McGregor is going to call somebody like that, like a Nate, who's been through the mud with Floyd, and they've been through a lot, and Floyd saved his life, of course he's going to hang up the phone. Of course he's going to hang up the phone. I could dive more about it, but y'all could go check it out. Y'all could go check about Nate's when he's crying, he's bawling, talking about Floyd and what Floyd has done for him. So that relationship right there is a beautiful relationship. So I see that being like, of course, he got nothing but love and loyalty for Floyd. So of course he would hang up that phone. Of course, Floyd take care of him also. So why would you even entertain something like that? I remember a long time ago, but that's all I'm gonna say. That's for a different. That's something else for when we talk about Floyd Mayweather later on. But yeah, I think that was dope of Nate. He shows his love and his loyalty towards his brother.
All right, G.
Yeah, I agree with Trill on this. And also to add, right? Yeah, I don't think 1.5 million is even that much. Like to leave, Mayweather to go to Conor McGregor. Like I kind of felt like the 1.5 is really not to train, but to get information about how Floyd probably trains. And so I think that's what it is, because maybe McGregor wants that, Mayweather rematch, and so he figures, hey, let me get people from his team over to give me information, some privileged information, and so that's why I felt like, I don't know, this seems kind of funny money, but to me, why would he go? It just doesn't even make sense. Why would you leave your man's that's been holding you down for forever? And so I just feel like Conor's playing a sneaky game, and salute to Nate for not even entertaining it, right? Because let's just say Conor was just playing. The type of the mind games that these dudes be playing, he could just be like, look, I got your man on text saying that, for $2 million, he'll join my team. And just making scenes on social media just to mess with Mayweather's, mind and everything like that. So salute to Nate for not even entertaining any of that stuff, man. And that's how it should be, always stay loyal to your family.
All right, Ned.
See, when Conor hit up Nate with that offer, he thought because his nickname was the Snake, he thought that's the type of character he was. And shout out to Nate. Shout out to Nate for staying loyal to your team and your set and not going for some chump change, man. Yo, it's the Money Team TBE. We out here, baby.
Dude. Yeah, man, you different, bro.
All right, so I'm just gonna pull it up. I know some people in the UK said, "Hey, man, don't mess with the sun," but hey, so far the sun's been good.
Good to us,
Yeah. So it says, Jones says Doubler's team got in touch with fellow Chicago Montel Griffin, and offer came from there. He said, Floyd don't know this, but I got a call from Conor McGregor's people to work his corner for a fight, and I hung up on them. They offered me 1.5 million, but I hung up on them. I got a call from Montel Griffin, and he said, people want to holler at you, Nate. They're McGregor's people. And they called me. I'm like, what's up? They was like, man, he interested in you being in the corner. We'll pay you 1.5 million, whatever you want. Mention what you want. And I hung up. Asked if he was tempted to take the money at any stage. He laughed. Montel called me back and said, Nate, you big dummy. What the F is wrong with you, man? I said, this is about life, your career. Make a better move for yourself, Nate. I said, nah, I'm not disloyal like that. Montel, I don't do things like that. That's my friend. He said, you've got to be one of the dumbest dudes ever, man. And he hung up. Floyd don't know about it. I didn't do it, so I never brung it up to him, but I will soon. Well, you just brought it up in this article.
But you know what? That's real. That's even. I don't even want to cut you. I don't even mean to cut you off, but that was just solid. That just remind me. That just remind me of you know, us when we came up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never was worried about when somebody came and said, we was never that say, oh, you know, this person said this and this and this about you. You know what I'm saying? We used to be like, all right, what you say then? You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Like, you don't have to show me when you don't have to prove your loyalty to me when I'm not around. Hold me down when I'm not around. That shows me that you're truly my friend. Not when the spotlight is on or when people are around, you say, that's my guy. Nah, when I'm not around and people are talking mess about me and you're by yourself, that's when you hold me down. That's the mark of a true friend. But I didn't mean that. I thought that was
No, I understand. I respect that. Sometimes things spark thought. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, I agree. I think Montel Griffin is the man who beat Roy Jones. He was on the ground, Roy hit him and got disqualified. And in the rematch, Roy beat the brakes off that man. That was you want to talk about a whooping, watch Roy Jones versus Montel Griffin too. That was ugly. That was ugly. I mean, I remember watching that fight and I was like, of course I was a Roy Jones fan and I wanted Roy to get him. But when Roy got him, I was like, that, yeah, that's the definition of the big payback. Like, for real. So
yeah, he hit him so hard it made him shake his head on the ground while he was on the ground.
But you know, when Nate Jones breaks this down, I think you have someone like Montel Griffin who's thinking from a business standpoint, and saying you got to take that money. But you have someone like Nate Jones who's thinking from a family, brother, and loyalty perspective. And you have to understand what Conor McGregor was doing. He was paying for gamesmanship. He was paying for possibly, like G said, to get advice and to get a one-up. But in that moment, Nate Jones had to decide, was he going to sell himself? Because it wasn't about Nate Jones' expertise. It wasn't about Nate Jones being so skilled in his ability to help McGregor, more so as, I want to do this to hurt Floyd. I want to use you to take a shot at Floyd. And accepting that money would be him selling himself, basically, to say, you know what, I'm going to allow you to use my relationship to Floyd to your benefit for this money. And then when he gets the money, his relationship with Floyd is done. Mm-hmm. So I will say this. I've noticed in recent videos when Floyd is training, there's someone else who had on a bodysuit for him. It wasn't Nate Jones. And I wonder if there's something behind the scenes going on there. And Nate's bringing this up right now as to kind of say, you know, I've been loyal to you even when, and I'm not usually the one to do this. Trill's usually the one in charge of the love box type of scenarios. But I do remember when Floyd was training and we were looking at those videos and he was hitting the body, and I was wondering, well, is it because Nate's doing something else and he doesn't? So I don't know if there's something there, and I'm not trying to say there's something there. I'm just saying it's an observation that I made. And then to hear Nate come out with these comments, it kind of, is there something? But what Nate did was stand up. Some people may look at it as dumb, but Nate valued his relationship with his brother over the quick cash that McGregor was offering him. So
McGregor must have watched Who Got Served. He was expecting Nate to switch corners when the fight started. Did you
say you got served? Did you just say you got served?
McGregor was watching You Got Served and thought Nate, he was going to try to surprise Floyd with that type of move.
What's that? What show is that?
Yo, what is You Got Served?
What show is that?
What is that?
What is that?
You never seen the dance movie? Oh, wow. Damn, man.
I'll be honest, I've never seen it.
You never see You Got Served? All right, well, there's a scene.
Yeah. I don't want to hear, yo, I don't
Yo,
hate
shout
nobody.
out to Nate. But I have been seeing Nate. I see Nate with Tate.
So
I see Nate with Tate.
Yo, Nate.
I see.
Yo, Nate, you talking about you got served. You just got muted. You got muted. Yo, stop with the
I'll send the scene later. Yeah.
Yeah. Text the group later. Shout outs to Nate. And I hope there's nothing there too, because I've been seeing Nate though with other fighters, and I know Nate's been, helping a lot of fighters now, because a lot of people been going towards Nate for some advice with everything. So I see Nate in there with Tank. I see Nate in there with the young Hitchison. I seen him in there with even one time in there in the gym with Devin. So I'm pretty sure Nate's still around, and I hope Floyd do still have love for them, and there's nothing going on there. Hopefully we'll have to add that to the love box.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
All right, and hopefully we won't have to add "You Got Served" to our movie list. Moving on. John Joe Nevins says during sparring, Lomachenko wore 20-ounce gloves. Vasily Lomachenko. So this is a guy, a professional fighter, John Jones Nevin. He says that Lomachenko spars with 20-ounce gloves on and ankle weights on his feet. And he said that Lomachenko is still just as quick, and that Lomachenko is always 2 steps ahead. And if you're having success, it's because Lomachenko is setting you up for a big shot. So start this one off with G. What's your thoughts on that?
All right, let me start off by saying I mean no disrespect. I really don't. But I mean, 20-ounce gloves isn't that serious, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I am impressed with the ankle weights, though. And so, if he's sparring with ankle weights, then I'm like, all right, yo, this dude's a bad man for real, But even with that, I need to know how much weight is on the ankles. So, I'm assuming, with his size, he probably puts like 2 pounds on each foot. So, it's still impressive because he's 130, 135 max, right? So that's what's up, But I'm just being honest with you, man. If you said for example, right? I remember Seth Mitchell, right? Like one time they were talking about how he was sparring with 50-ounce gloves, and I was like, 50-ounce gloves? That sounds crazy, you know what I mean? But I spar with 34s. I mean, not spar, but I train with 34-ounce gloves. And, I mean, they hurt. But it's like 20s is really not that bad. It really isn't, So it's like, but then again, it's like, I'm a heavyweight.
I was just about to say, you don't factor in the weight.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's
the weight to ounce differential.
Yeah, so he's it's impressive. It is. It's just it's hard for me. I gotta, I'm showing empathy right now. I gotta put myself in the shoes of Lomachenko, and yeah, man. Hey, man, listen. Let me take it all back. What I just said, man. Yeah. Salute to him, man. 20 pounds and ankle weights, man. That's what's up.
All right, Ned.
I'm sorry.
That's what's up. If he's sparring like that, that means he's putting his body through the test before he even gets in the ring. So, he's preparing for any type of elements, making sure he's a foot, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of the game, So that's shout out to Lomachenko for keeping proper work ethics when he's training and, focusing and putting his life into this,
All right. I'm going to go in and I'm going to let Trill go because we're talking about some little guys. So,
yeah.
For me, I don't like when fighters spar with 20-ounce gloves when the gloves are too big. Because when the gloves are too big, you're able to pick off shots that you normally wouldn't pick off if you're fighting in professional-sized gloves. So for me, I'm not a big fan. But if his goal is to somehow create more strain for more speed, then fine. But it is a lot easier for people to pick off shots with bigger gloves. And, I learned that the hard way. A lot of fighters learn that the hard way. You see some fighters, when they put their hand up and they think they're going to block something and they still get caught, you're looking at it like, oh, how come this guy didn't? Well, he thought because he's accustomed to sparring in bigger gloves, he or she thought when they put their hand there, they were going to block the shot, but they didn't. And it's all habit because you're developing habits as you go. You're developing certain reflexes, certain things that it's going to become like second nature for you when you're in the ring. And if you're sparring in 20-ounce gloves, then you're going to pick off certain shots that you in training that you won't pick off in the ring because the gloves are going to be a lot smaller. But with that being said, Triple G is a guy, Vasily Lomachenko is a guy who's been doing this for a very long time. He's very crafty, very skilled. So I think he understands what he can do. And when he's wearing it, I don't think he's wearing them to pick off shots, but more so just to add extra strain to his workout. So the training's harder than the fight. The ankle weights, of course, after going a few rounds, I'm telling you, those ankle weights feel like hell. I don't care if it's 2 pounds. I don't care if it's 1 pound. That extra pound starts to weigh you down after a few rounds, whether it's jump roping, moving around in the ring, sparring, that extra weight, it builds up. So you got to give Vasily Lomachenko his props. And the guy saying that he's just as fast, yeah, I mean, I agree with it. But you also got to understand we're talking about Billy Joe Nevin, and we're not talking about Teofimo Lopez. We're not talking about Devin Haney. We're talking about him. But still, I mean, I respect it and I believe it. True?
I agree with everything you said. I like Lomachenko. I like Lomachenko a lot. And I heard this about him sparring with the ankle weights on and with the gloves before. I heard he does that for speed, to make his hands faster when he gets in there with the lighter gloves, and so he can move around faster when he's in the ring. But at the end of the day, what's that supposed to mean? Tell me about the fights. I want to know about the fight. When you going to fight Teofimo Lopez? When you going to give him that shot? When you going to fight Devin Haney? These are the questions I need to know. I don't need to know what you ate for breakfast and what you're doing in there. It's good to know that you're training and all that. Let us know about the fights. I want to know about the fight. When you going to make the fights happen? That's like them telling us. Remember when they used to tell us all the stuff about Jeff Lacy? And I'm not comparing the two. Bro, Jeff Lacy bench presses this and look at his physique and all this stuff like that. Yeah. Fight time. That's when it matters. Fight time. That's what it matters. And we're interested
about
in
Jeff
seeing
Lacy in that old fight night, though, Trill. What were your thoughts on Jeff?
I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking to you because I'm still mad at you about the Jeff Lacy. We'll get into that fight. I used to listen, I was magnificent. Magnificent. We could bring that up. We could bring that. Matter of fact, we're going to do a whole nother video on how. But nah, Lomachenko, I like Lomachenko a lot. I just want to hear news about who he's going to fight next. I don't want to hear news about everything else. I want to hear about who he's going to fight next. Is he going to give this kid Teofimo Lopez a shot? Is he going to defend, take his get his belt back from Devin Haney? I don't know. Just since he got a new belt, does he even want that? I don't know. I just want to hear stuff about that. But shout outs to Lomachenko.
And I'm going to say shout out to Left Hook Lacy, baby. Listen, Trill don't want to talk about it, so I'm going to have to talk about it. We used to play fight night. This is the fight night before Champion. And Left Hook Lacy was in it. And, like, his speed was, like, 66, but his chin was, like, 100. And we would have, like, everyone had titles in different weight classes. And Trill had all the titles in all the weight classes except light heavyweight.
Listen, and I made it my duty to get this belt, to get this title.
Trill will win. Trill could win every match in every weight.
I beat everybody. I
had Left Hook Lacy in light heavyweight, and Trill would be whooping me the entire fight. Listen, yo, Ned and G, no lie, yo, it would be terrible. I'd be getting beat the entire fight. And then in the 11th and 12 rounds, when his fighter would slow down, I would knock Trill out. And it played out that we had to fight 50 times. Still could
And
never
it played
be
out.
done.
Listen, every round, yo, G, look at me, G. Every round, I'm busting them down.
So I
Every
understand.
round.
Trust me, you know why I understand? I used to play Caden in NBA Live. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I be up 20, and then I end up losing. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, bro. Hey, I understand.
And the game used to cheat because they wouldn't even let me get back up. Usually they let you get up at least one time.
One
The game wouldn't
knockdown.
let me get
One knockdown to fight. So, yo, Left Hook Lacey was my dude, man. So shout outs to Left Hook Lacey, man.
no shout outs to Jeff Look.
All right, we're moving on to another topic, and that is Adrien the Problem Broner. I'm going to share my screen. Adrien the Problem Broner has released a track, and we will rate this track. We've listened to the track, but due to copyright issues and things of that nature, we don't know how much of this we can play, but we're going to give you a taste. Let's go. All right. You can listen to this song at Adrien Broner's Instagram page. It's there. It's up there. It's called Forbes List. We listened to the track before we came on. It's time to review this track. I'm going to start this one off with G. What were your thoughts on Forbes List?
It may be called Forbes list, but it's not going to reach the Billboard list. That's all trash. You know what I mean? Like, I like his flow, but that beat is like it's so elementary, man. It's like a horrible.
That's a Fruity Loop classic, dog.
A Fruity Loop. You know what I mean? I'm good, man. Like, but I will say this though. I remember when he did the Panda remix. I was actually impressed. I was like, yo, Adrien Broner can actually rap. But that song right there, this Forbes list, nah, bro, that's not it, man. So I think he need to come harder than that. So, but I do believe he could rap though. But that song to me, my honest opinion, is garbage.
So you're not bump it or dump it, man. What are you gonna do?
And I would have been dumped it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. Yo, that beat is just bad, son. Like, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, man. I can't do it.
Hey, Trills, man. Adrien Broner, what are your thoughts on the new song? Would you bump it or dump it? What's up?
Well, that's the new wave right there. That's the new wave. You listening to the music right now? That's the new wave. I'm not even mad at the Broner. Actually, Broner should have started this music thing a little bit earlier. You know? And the song that you was talking about, and the song you're talking about, Slammer, when he did the Panda beat over to throw Slammer Slam, he went off on that. But that's not the only track. That's not the only track he went off on. He got other songs with, you know, Thugger and everybody else. I like AB, and I like the fact that, you know, he's following another passion of his, and he's staying out of trouble. You know, he's talking mess on the internet, but he's staying out of trouble, and he's doing something else productive and positive with his time, and that's making music, which is another release for him. So I can't even knock the brother. Can't knock him for trying. You know, I might hop on the remix. You know what I'm saying? Throw me.
All right, man. So bump it or dump it.
I'm a bump it. I like it. I like that new wave. And rest in peace. I've been listening to Pop Smoke so much lately. So those are the new beats that's been, you know, that the kids are listening to. Rest in peace to the young man Pop Smoke.
All right, Ned. What are your thoughts on Adrien Broner's track Forbes list? And would you bump it or dump it?
I was rocking with it when I heard it. I'll say that. It caught me. And I said, I gotta say, hey, B, yo, that South Snitch, you gotta chill on it, man. Talking about we need more bricks and we extort, you know? So come on, hey, when you hear interference on the line on your phone calls, the feds is listening. So after that, all I gotta say is, hey, B, you talented brother. But for me, this is gonna be a one hitter quitter, you know? I'm gonna hit it once and throw it to the curb, yo. It's not for me, man. It's not my life.
All right, so my original thoughts is, I don't know. Fat Joe said this line a long time ago, and I think it was on the General remix. He said, "I'm sick of this rap stuff. That's why I listen to slow jams." Right?
Feel him.
And I'm at that point too. So it's rare when you hear some good rap these days. I'm turning into that guy. But Adrien Broner is certainly not the worst rapper I've ever heard. In fact, I've heard some of his stuff where I'm like, that Take K the Race like thing he did, he was spitting on that. Like if you listen to the lyrics he was saying, I was like, okay, AB, like it wasn't no simpleton type rhymes. And he's done it a few times where I heard AB. We don't count down the top 5 best boxer rappers, and AB's on that list. And I think I actually heard AB's mixtape. To me, this Forbes list isn't the best song I've heard from AB. But AB certainly deserves to make music. If some of these rappers out here can make music, he's certainly better than a lot of these guys. The track itself, it's not the best track from AB, but
definitely not the best track. But AB can spit. He can spit.
But it wasn't one of those tracks where I was like, yo, let me get this garbage off. Like I bump it to the end of the track. I don't know if I'd ever play it again, but like I'd bump it. So I'm certainly not gonna dump it. Dump It is one of those songs where like you put the thumbs down on like Pandora, or you put the thumbs down, you skip to the next track. I would listen to it. So
now, you know what this song remind me of? Like Chief Keef and Gucci Mane, they did this a lot. Where it's like they produce so many tracks that even though you like their music, they're bound to give you a bunch of garbage, right? Because they produce so much. AB's not producing enough to do that to me. So it's like, fam, you being selective, this ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to come with heat every time.
I don't think he can drop all the music, because I saw one IG post from him when he was like, please, everyone, release the music or something. I could probably try to pull it up. But he was asking artists who he's made songs with to allow him to release the music. So I think it could just
the record companies is like,
yeah, they got sound releases and all that stuff. But he got songs with a lot of people. A lot of people really mess with AB and think he got some talent, you know. But I'm glad he's doing something positive and productive with his time, and we're not seeing him doing any getting in no trouble with the law, any antics like that.
That is true.
And he's talking about putting his hands on Regis.
Okay, the 130 dude?
140.
Regis in 140? Oh,
yeah.
130, my bad.
Adrien Broner. All right, the next topic we're going to discuss is beef between Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya. So Ryan Garcia tweeted something about Oscar De La Hoya, then he deleted it. But first, it started off with Oscar De La Hoya tweeting on June 15th, due to team @King Ryan G decision not to accept a July 4th bout, we will now return in late July with the future of boxing @ Virgil Ortiz. More exciting details to follow @ Golden Boy. And then in response to this, Ryan Garcia stated to Oscar De La Hoya, you do realize you're supposed to be my promoter. So Ryan was reportedly asking for $500,000 for his next fight. He was only offered $200,000 to fight on July 4th by Oscar De La Hoya. And you saw the tweets, you saw the exchanges. So we'll start this one off with Trill. What's your thoughts on this? And which side are you leaning towards?
At first, when I first heard it, right, I was like, these guys are sometimes so Hollywood that this beef can be staged. You know, the whole I'm mad at my promoter thing. it gets a little bit of buzz and it gets a little bit of traction, and because that's what boxing's turned into. It turned into the WWE. It has to be some storyline behind some madness and everything that's going on. So why not? I was thinking maybe it was some, okay, let's act like, the whole promoter fighter thing don't get along thing, like how it was going over there with Tank and stuff like that. Let's get involved in some of that. Let's get some of that good press and some of that good action. But then I started thinking more about it. Fighters and promoters always get into disputes over money. And especially with a Ryan Garcia, of course, Ryan's going to think, especially with his Instagram following and everything, that he's worth more. I know we had this COVID situation, but he's figuring with Golden Boy and what Golden Boy has going on, they could give him more. And he feels like he can bring out ratings, and he knows his numbers. He knows he got people on his side. I just want to see this thing play out. I want to see this thing play out. I really don't have a right off the. I just want to see it play out. That's how I look at it. I want to see it play. It's just everything just seems so funny now. It seems like everything is so funny now. Like everything is like you got to be a story behind something.
All right, G.
Listen here. On the new series of the Little Box Telemundo.
Exactly.
Novela.
I'll say this. All right. I actually agree with Ryan Garcia on this one for the simple fact that, why did Oscar make it public? And he was petty because he said like the future, what did he say? The future of boxing version keys.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, bro, you doing that out of spite to Ryan, and that to me is like, I don't know, it's just so, I don't want to use that word. It's just, it's not manly. I'll say that. You know what I mean? And so it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't sit well. Like if Oscar De La Hoya was my promoter and my promoter did that to me, I would feel a particular way. Now, the type of person I am, I wouldn't respond back on Twitter. Like I would hit him up directly, like, "Yo, what's going on with that post? Delete that," and then we'll hash it out like men. But seeing that though, you got to look at your promoter a particular way, and because then now it also, like, think bigger picture. If I'm the people from the zone, I'm like, yo, is it even worth investing in Ryan Garcia because he might be too much of a diva, and it paints a negative light on him. And so that could affect his money long term, even short term. And that's why I don't like what I'm seeing. So yeah, I just felt like Oscar De La Hoya being the established promoter, legendary fighter, this is bigger than him. He didn't need to be petty and take it to social media. He should have just been professional and just going, all right, yo, whatever. All right, you don't want to take the $200,000. We'll find somebody that's willing to take that bread. And then just make the fight happen. You don't have to disrespect your cash cow or your potential future cash cow in the process.
All right, Ned.
I think y'all looking at this the wrong way. I just looked at Oscar De La Hoya's tweets. That post is still there. Ryan's is not. So that who said what and who pulled what strings. I think Oscar got his Nino Brown on and told him, sit your $5 behind down before you know what happens.
Get him, Ned. Get him, Ned.
And Ryan humbled himself. So we looking at it wrong. Ryan, I know you young, you want to get your bread and things like that, but you got, this is boxing. You got to move with the times, man. And that's all. So shout out to Oscar for pulling his G card right. I'm playing his G card just now, yo. I'm just saying, it's still here. It's been a week and it's still up.
But Ned, remember, this ain't the first time with Oscar. Because remember, the same thing happened with Canelo one time on Twitter when Canelo got stripped of one of his belts and it went on social media. And it's just like, yo, bro, you my promoter, yo. Fall back. You know what I mean? Like, don't be engaging on social media trying to put me down in any which way. That's not a good look. Like, we're supposed to be professionals. We don't do that on, like, I don't know, at least in my field, you don't go on social media bashing, you know, people you work with. You know what I mean? It's not professional. Yeah. Good look.
I mean, I don't see him. Is Virgil Ortiz also signed to Golden Boy?
I'm assuming he is. He's saying he's the future.
Okay.
Yes.
So, did he say anything? Did he say Ryan Garcia isn't the future of boxing? Or did he say that Virgil Ortiz is the future of boxing? Because I don't want us to look too deep into this, because I see all the promoters say that about their young fighters. That this guy is the future of boxing, this guy's and they'll be on the same network. So I think that's another reason why.
I'll read what he said. Oscar said, due to Team King Ryan G decision not to accept a July 4th bout, we will now return in late July with the future of boxing, Virgil Ortiz. More exciting details to follow. You know what I mean? So he brought up Ryan Garcia in that same. So that's why it's like, yo, I'm forced to now, if I was Ryan Garcia, be like, yo, why would you even put me in that same tweet as homeboy and then say he's the future of boxing?
Oh yeah, you can make a claim for that, but they also have said that about Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz has been the #1 called him prospect of the year. He's been putting on. He's been knocking out everybody you put in front of him. He's gonna be a real tough welterweight for these guys coming up. Out of the young welterweights, he's really the one that's really promising at 147. I was just talking to somebody about why not. He needs a test. I said, why not put him in there next with Adrien Granados, and then put him in there with an Ugas, because he really wants to fight. He was calling out Ugas too. Say, since you can't get a fight with those other guys, how about me? So shout outs to the young man. He really wants to fight. And to some people, Virgil Ortiz is the future of boxing.
Yeah, man, the ball's in Ryan Garcia's court now.
Yeah, you know, when his car he renegotiated with that's Golden Boy just recently re-signed. So that's why it makes me think that these guys is, you know, I don't know. They say, well, you know, we'll play it. Might be part of the love box. Let's do what Floyd and Tank are doing. They're getting a lot of media attention. You know? I don't know. Boxing's weird now. Boxing's like the WWE now. You know? Gotta be some stories behind something.
Mm-hmm. Using it to promote their fighters.
I hope y'all are right.
Yeah, I hope I am too.
I don't see it that way. I see it as this is chestnut checkers, these is warning shots. De La Hoya just sent him some warning shots.
Yeah.
Basically, you could either be the #1 young gun in the stable, or I can turn my attention over to someone else. To me, that's what that's solidified, and that's what it signified as. Basically, Ryan Garcia was supposed to, and I think he's meeting Ryan Garcia where he's at. Ryan Garcia is one of the social media guys. Remember what happened with the Duno situation. Ryan Garcia went to social media, ran the social media. So I think De La Hoya is saying, okay, you like to play the social media game. I'm gonna meet you where you're at. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hit you where it hurts. I'm gonna hit you on social media. So one, he's letting fans know, I tried to get you the opportunity to see Ryan Garcia, but he rejected. Virgil Ortiz is ready to go, and he's the future of boxing. He did all that for a reason. A few things. One, Ryan, if you ask for $500,000 and everyone's taking pay cuts, is $200,000 De La Hoya trying to screw you over, or just the market right now? When you look at other fighters who have to take serious pay cuts and still put on fights, it's not like De La Hoya screwing you over. I can understand if you were the only one who had to take a pay cut. And I can understand if you were about to fight Tank or something. De La Hoya is just trying to give you a showcase on the 4th of July in front of a major audience and get you some bread. And that's all you could ask for. It's not the bread you want, but at least he's trying to get you paid. That's it. Now, if you feel like it's not enough and it's not worth your time, then you can kindly reject it. But how can you not understand the situation? And I get it. He's a young guy, but still, nobody's making top dollar right now. No one can make top dollar right now. There are no gates. There's no gate money. There's no merchandise money. There's all types of money that you can't get right now due to the situation. So he was getting you the most amount of money he can get you strictly off the fight alone. Just to walk in the ring in an isolated arena, fight a guy who should be easy for you, bang, check. That's all he was trying to do. I get it. Not enough money for you, cool. But it's the way you react to things. You have to understand this. And Ned actually pointed out a great point, which I'm shocked by. De La Hoya's tweet is still up. Ryan Garcia's is gone. You got to know your place. Because it reminds me of a number of fighters who didn't know their place. And Ryan Garcia, before you know it, you'll wake up and you got a contract to fight Vasily Lomachenko. You'll wake up and you got a contract to fight Devin Haney. And that's De La Hoya's way of telling you, mind your manners, boy. Because as great as you think you are, I will knock you down. So
yeah, I hope I see where you're coming from. I hope now. I hope they're playing a game or something for promotion. Because you know De La Hoya could definitely stop that train. That train. He's the one he's your promoter. You can't get a fight without him. You're signed to him for whatever, how many years or how many fights. You're signed to him. He can put those fights on when he wants. That's why I'm hoping he know the bit. And I hope you hanging around Saul ain't making you thinking that you are Saul. I hope you hanging around a Cinnamon over there. I hope you hanging around Cinnamon. You ain't starting to think that you are him. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, Ryan.
Yeah, don't get too big too soon. Canelo can do that. Canelo can do that. You can't do that, bro. You've accomplished very little in the sport of boxing as of right now. And De La Hoya is the golden boy for a reason. So just keep that stuff in mind, Mike.
I know people don't use De La Hoya for memes and stuff like that before, but like Caden said, he's called the golden boy for a reason.
We like Ryan. We just don't want to see Ryan screw himself over and be in a situation where, you know, his career takes a bad turn because, you know, he went to war with his promoter. We've seen it before. So speaking of pay cuts in boxing, we're moving on to another topic, which is Amanda Serrano is pulling out of the Katie Taylor fight. And basically she said that she's agreed to the fight on 4 occasions. And they had the fight scheduled and they were slated to fight. But due to the pandemic, Amanda Serrano was being asked to take almost 50% less than the agreed upon purse for the fight. But really what's bothering her is that Katie Taylor's not being asked to take the same pay cut. So she's being asked to take a bigger pay cut for the fight than Katie Taylor. So it starts one off with G. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, to be honest with you, it is what it is. You know, I believe Katie's more popular than her, so it happens, you know, like if you're not raising your profile and, you know, the other person has the big promoter that puts their fighter in every like boxing lineup, you know, it happens, man. Like people see Katie fight on a lot of these DAZN cards. You're not really seeing Amanda like that. So it happens, man. You know, and so it does suck that fighters have to take such a drastic pay cut. Like 50% is kind of like OD, especially for the magnitude of this fight. Like this is a good look for women's boxing. So personally, I would just say, hey, just hold out, wait until the economy gets back to normal. You know, like when people start filling up those seats, and then just renegotiate. That's all. You know, like I see what she's saying, but Katie's just honestly more known than her. Like Katie had Layla Ali pick her up over Clarissa Shields, you know, and Layla Ali even said, like, well, Katie's more popular than you. You know what I mean? I think now it's a little different. I think Clarissa Shields has raised her profile, but you know, that's about it though. You know what I mean? So when you're thinking of like female boxers, you definitely think Clarissa Shields, you definitely think Katie Taylor. You know, so it's kind of like it's almost like the Dillian Whyte situation, where it's like, yo, like does Dillian get the same cut as a Tyson Fury or a Deontay Wilder if he fights Anthony Joshua again or something? No, you know, it just happens that way. You know, it's just like you got to know who you are. Yeah. So like when I see this, like who's promoting this fight? DAZN, National. You know, like. And we already know, like, they put a lot of money into Katie Taylor. So, to me, it just makes sense, man. You, as the B side, you're going to get hit harder than the A side.
All right, Trills.
I don't know. This is funny to me. I'm just going to call it how it is. It's funny to me. How do you pay? I get it. It depends where they're having the fight, right? I get it. Katie Taylor to some might be more known, but to me, Amanda was more known. She comes from a fighting family. She's more accomplished, have more, she got belts in other weight classes. But like you said, she's, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why the more accomplished fighter will have to take this drastic of a pay cut. I have my own theories, but I'm not gonna conspiracy it today, you know. But I'm just gonna just say I'm gonna just leave it like this. That's definitely not fair, and she knows her worth, and she has earned it. She has earned it in the ring by being a stellar athlete. This is a different situation than the Ryan Garcia situation. And to put on time, I like Katie. We even went to see Katie fight, right? We watched Katie fight at TD Bank North Garden, right? Shout out to Katie, and I like Katie. But I had her losing to Serrano. I had her losing, and I thought it was going to be bad. So is this a
Just
ploy?
for clarification purposes, you're saying you had her losing to Amanda Serrano because the fight we were at, she was fighting Amanda's sister.
Yes,
She
her sister
won every round of that one.
Yeah. She clearly won every round. I'm talking about I would have Amanda beating Katie. I had
I
Amanda
just want to
beating her.
clarify because you said we were at the fight and you said you had Serrano beating her, which kind of
No. Yeah, that's two different things. I just want to say we support Katie Taylor. We like Katie Taylor. We went to go see one of her fights. But like I do. I like that. You know, and then but what I was saying, when they was talking about this fight being made, I was like, Amanda was gonna kill her. And is this a ploy from the promoters to not make this fight happen with the money situation because they know too that Amanda's gonna go out there and put them paws on her? I done seen it happen before in boxing. I don't know, but I just think that in this situation, this is unfair. She has more accomplishments. I don't know. But shout out to both women because I thought that this fight was going to be crazy, like G said. I thought this was going to be a real good look for women's boxing. And it's sad that they can't make this fight happen. But maybe later on, and with the people will go and, you know, chant for this fight and say this is unfair. Let both ladies get paid the same.
I don't know about getting paid the same, but
I mean,
salute to Amanda.
if they already agreed to the same, if they already agreed to a same purse, right? Say they both agreed to 500,000, right? And now they're saying, oh, you could get 250,000, and she still gets 500,000, and you got the belts. You've been champion the longer, and you've been nah.
I feel you on that. That's kind of crazy, but I don't think
I don't care.
Because I think they both are taking cuts. It's just Amanda's taking a way larger cut than
half the cut.
Oh, I thought she was getting paid 50% less than Katie Taylor.
Nah, she's getting 50% less than what the original agreement was. Katie's taking a cut too, but it's nowhere near 50%.
Oh, I thought Katie wasn't taking no cut.
Nah, they both taking.
She's taking a cut. Her cut's just not as big as Amanda Serrano's cut's gonna be.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a situation of you need a better team around you to negotiate that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking. So it's probably just an A side, B side type of thing.
But she should be the A side. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
what has Katie Taylor accomplished as a professional boxer that Amanda Serrano's hasn't?
I understand what you're saying, Phil, but A side is all about popularity. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with that too. And it depends on who you're talking to, because you'll get people in Puerto Rico, and then that will say that she is the truth and she is more popular, and who is Katie Taylor, and then you'll get people in England that will say the same, like Katie Taylor is this, who is this Serrano's girl, you know?
Yeah, hey,
so it's who you talk to.
Where's the fight gonna be located?
That's what I think that matters.
It said Manchester on
Okay. All right. That's why I said where it's located. That's probably what has a part to do with it. With where it's located at, because they feel like Katie Taylor's gonna bring them out. Now I see that side.
Nah, but still it kind of doesn't matter because there's not gonna be anyone in the audience though. So
see, now that if that happened, then that sucks too.
Now, you know what? Now I'm switched up. I'm on Trill's side, man. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, there's no audience anyway. So it's like, if you're going to deduct one, just deduct both by the same amount. So that way it's fair, you know?
Yeah.
What if it's on pay-per-view?
Oh. Then,
why? They don't got pay-per-view in Puerto Rico?
Do they?
It's not going to do what it does in the UK.
I'm like, yo, certain countries,
Puerto Rico's a small island, bro.
Yeah. But I don't see. Puerto Rico done did numbers for Cotto and Tito. When they love you, they love you.
Did do numbers for Cotto and Tito, but Amanda Serrano is not Cotto or Tito.
Mm-hmm. She's something like them. She's something like them.
Yeah, she wears the same flag. Yes. He has your hat.
Hard for no reason. You pulling a G when I be going hard for Dillian lately.
All right, so I'm just going to jump in and speak my piece. Look, a few things. One, everybody's taking cuts, man. This is what I like I said, check me. I'm consistent across the board. Everyone's taking cuts. This isn't a isolated incident. This isn't an Amanda Serrano incident. This is why Ryan Garcia can't get the money he wanted for his fight. He said he wanted, look at this, check this, peep this. Ryan Garcia said he wanted $500,000 for his next fight. I don't know what he gets paid per fight, but I'm assuming $500,000 would be him asking for more money than he normally gets, right? Amanda Serrano is saying she's going to have to take almost a 50% pay cut to have a fight with Katie Taylor. Well, you look at Ryan Garcia asked for $500,000. He was offered $200,000, which is a little more than 50%, but still around the same number. It would make sense to just logically look at a situation and say they can't afford to pay this type of money in the current climate, but they need to put on boxing. And everyone who, you know the times when the promoter was overpaying fighters, they're going to kiss it goodbye for real. Because this is a time when the promoters need the fighters to take less money so they can put on shows and keep boxing in the spotlight. And the fighters are saying no. But hey, maybe this is the fighters' protest, and this is the fighters saying, hey, well, I don't know. But here's what I do know. Katie Taylor, based on what I've seen and what I know, is the more popular name in the fight. The fight was scheduled to take place in Manchester. If Amanda Serrano was so much more popular, the fight would happen in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
But the fight's happening in Manchester. And that's Katie Taylor's turf. And it's going to be on pay-per-view, I'm assuming, and they're banking on Katie Taylor doing numbers. So her cut is a little different than Amanda Serrano's. Now,
Yeah.
Amanda Serrano, well, maybe what I'm hoping is that this is a negotiation tactic to hopefully get more money, and that she doesn't want to call the fight out. Because I saw her, she was training. I saw Katie Taylor, they were training, and a lot has been made of the Layla Ali, Clarissa Shields. But let me tell you, this was a fight. This right here was a fight. This was a fight for women's boxing. This was two skilled women. This was two highly skilled women that I couldn't wait to see in the ring. Like, this was one of the fights where I was anticipating it like it was, you know, two of the top guys in the division. This was a fight that I think would have done wonders for young women and women's boxing. And I think it would have been a successful pay-per-view too. I think it would have been a successful event. It would have been nice to see these two headline. And I hope there's a way it can still happen. But what I would say to Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor is this is a terrible situation to be in, because once again, like we've already broken down with Wilder and Fury, the trilogy, there's money, there's a purse that was originally agreed to but relied on things that are no longer, accessible. So now people have to decide what they can work with. And Amanda Serrano deserves high reward for the risk she's taking against Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor deserves the same, but what you're talking about is them actually making less money than they did to fight easier fights. So I can understand Amanda Serrano not wanting to take the risk from that standpoint. I can understand Katie Taylor not wanting to take the risk from that standpoint. I can understand Amanda Serrano saying, this is enough money for me to take the risk. And I can understand Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor seems to not be saying that, which means she's okay with what she's making. Clearly, Amanda Serrano's not okay with what she's making.
Of course she's not. Of course, because they didn't take that much. They took the back end. They took 50% from a man. I'll walk you everything you said, but that'd be cool if it was fair across the board. I know that Katie's gonna probably get more. She was getting more in the whole build up when they made it. But if you're gonna take at least 50, you got to take the same amount. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be the same amount, but it got to be damn near close.
Yeah, it got to be close. We got to be close.
At least take like.
I did say a lot has to do with where the fight's going to be held. You know what I'm saying? Which I do agree that she should get a little bit more. But the fact that they're taking that much away and they're not even going to take that much, Katie will be singing a different tune if they was taking 50% of her purse.
Oh,
you'll be saying that too.
100%. But what I'm saying is, I'm hoping that this is just a form of negotiation. We saw this with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua before the rematch in Saudi Arabia. I'm hoping this is her saying, well, there's no fight. I mean, to take almost 50% of the purse from someone and this is the reason why I say it's too much. This is for the biggest fight of her career. This isn't like Ryan Garcia, who was going to fight like, the top 70 contender in the world. This is her fighting Katie Taylor, who is a bad woman.
And this is Katie Taylor fighting Amanda Serrano, who's a bad woman.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So she shouldn't have to take less money than she would make fighting the easier opponent. So I can understand why if you cut her purse almost 50%, it's almost like, what am I taking this risk for?
Yeah, why
You
even?
take the risk to be compensated.
Mhm.
So I can understand her coming from that or feeling that way. But when the argument is, this is what I don't agree with though. When the argument is that, oh, but you're not taking that much from Katie Taylor, my thing is, it shouldn't matter what they're not taking from Katie Taylor. It should only matter what they're taking from you. So like for Deontay Wilder, for example, when he was going to make 120 million, all I know is that's the most money you were ever going to make, Wilder. So I don't want to hear about how much Josh was making. So for Serrano, her argument shouldn't just, well, I understand why she's saying it. She's saying it as if, oh, if you took that amount of money from Katie Taylor, I'd be okay with it. It should be, no, I should be compensated more for the risk that I'm taking. And if not, then I'm not going to make the fight. So that's my only issue is with the argument. But I agree. If there's more money out there, give it to her.
Yeah, I feel you, but I have a beef with that argument
Yeah.
because we all know that Katie Taylor was going to get more. But if you're going to take 50 from her,
Yeah.
50% from her, and not take 50% from her, Katie will still get more. If they're going to take the same amount, Katie will still get more. You know what I'm saying? I know she's aware of that, but you're really you're like devaluing. I would feel like you're if I was a fight, you're devaluing what I bring, all my accomplishments, everything that I have done, over somebody who just got fame because of where they're from and they're the new star on the scene. What about all the belts from different over weight classes, over more than over 4 weight classes? I believe she has over belts in.
Can I say something?
Oh, sure.
I'm looking at. I know I didn't speak, but I just like, they just like their followers. Katie's in like the 100. Amanda's in the 20,000. Maybe Amanda does know her worth, and the amount she agreed to wasn't like a significant purse for that match. But when you take 50% of it, you're gonna be like, I understand the circumstances of the pandemic going on, but this is not worth me going all the way to the UK to get in the ring.
Yo, listen. You know what's funny? I think we all agree. It's more about, at least with me and Trill, I think it's the fact that it's 50%. You know what I mean? Like, that cut seems so extreme. I mean, I don't know what
it's basically I'm just paying her. I'm paying her to come to your gym. She gotta come to your gym.
That's what I'm saying. This is another thing that I think when Kaden was talking, it just clicked to my head. It was like, all right, it sucks because women in boxing, like, even though they may lead the fight card, they're most likely gonna have to share that spotlight with 2 guys, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be a co-main event, and so when you do that, you also got to consider paying 2 other guys, and so I think that's why the cuts are so extreme, because they have to compensate for the gentleman on that same fight card. So,
but not even only that,
that's so severe, like, because 50% doesn't even seem right. It's like that's a lot. That's a huge cut of somebody's purse.
And we already know they don't get paid nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
The women boxers don't get paid nothing. So you want to take 50% of nothing?
Yeah, that's
nothing means nothing.
Like, yeah, man. Yeah,
nah, man, stop it. Here's what I say why I can rock with you guys on. If your argument is, because see, my argument is that Amanda Serrano doesn't deserve more money, but she just deserves more money based on the risk. Well, if you guys are arguing Katie Taylor's purse and saying, well, maybe they should take some from Taylor to give to Serrano, then I'm like, okay, but my thing is this. Like, Katie Taylor deserves full compensation, so does Serrano. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to point to what Katie Taylor's making because she's taking a cut too.
I'm not. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, just tell you, I agree with you. We're not talking about what Katie Taylor's making. We all agree that Katie Taylor should be getting the most because of where the fight's being taken place, and she is gonna bring in the paper. We do agree with that. But when you go and say, okay, now we can't pay you guys what we was gonna pay you guys, so we're gonna make a cut. So everybody's gonna take 50 off. Everybody's going to take a 50% cut. That's fair.
Hold on. This is why I disagree with Trill. I don't believe Katie should take a 50% cut because, she is the A side. So she's going to be the one driving those pay-per-views.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. Katie was already agreed that Katie was going to get the most money. Say if like Katie was going to get $1 million, and Serrano's was going to get 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now you take
both of them should agree to take 50%.
So now if they're going to take 50%, you know what I'm saying? Then that would mean that that's the Serrano's get 250,000 and Katie will get $500,000. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
If they
agree
was
with that though.
Nah, I don't agree with that.
If that's how they was going to do it, if we can't pay you fighters what we was going to pay y'all, right? We're just going to take 50% out of y'all purses. Katie, you still getting more. And Serrano's, you still getting, you know what I'm saying? You still getting some bread.
Katie's still getting paid $500,000 less than she agreed to, and Serrano's still getting paid $250,000 less than she agreed
less than what she agreed to.
But to me, that's not appropriate compensation for the risk for either of them. See,
I know. I agree with that one. I agree with your point too.
Finish my argument.
Okay, go ahead.
My argument is about risk versus reward, right? And so for Katie Taylor, if $1 million was the reward she felt she needed to take the risk, and she's going to take a cut. Say her cut is she's going to get 700,000. She's not going to get $1 million. She's going to get 700,000. And Amanda Serrano's cut is she's going to get 250,000 and not the 500,000. It's not an equal cut, but still both of them aren't being fully compensated the amount of money they agreed to take the risk. So my thing isn't about the percentage. It's about making sure they're compensated enough so that the risk is valid. So that's why
we agree. Yeah, we all agree on that one. Yeah. I agree. I think we're
all
arguing different points.
Purpose though, because I think to say okay, you both take 50% cut screws them both over.
Yeah, I do too.
That's where I'm coming from.
I agree with that too. I think we're all arguing different points, but agreeing with each other.
Yeah. So how about this? Amanda, instead of thinking about what Katie's cut is, she just be like, "Yo, this is my fee. This is what I need. If y'all can give me this number, I'll fight her." You know, and obviously Katie should be doing the same thing. Hey, I'll fight her. I see what's going on in the economy right now. I'll fight her for this amount. Y'all can make this happen. We in it.
And I think Serrano's is just thinking, being fair. Fair is fair. If you're going to take 50 from me, take 50 from her. I just think that's all she was thinking. Nothing too deep.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that's not – yeah, I agree with you. That's what Serrano's thinking. Remember, my original point was that shouldn't be her thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, I got you.
Pay me the amount I need to take this risk. Pay me the proper – and that should be Katie's thing as well. So, to just be like, oh, you take 50 from me, take 50 from her, I think that's small time in the situation for the both of them.
Oh, but I totally agree with that.
So They could even postpone or whatever, but I hope there's a way to make it work because I was really looking forward to this fight.
Yeah, we talked about it on another segment of Boxing Bros that we was excited for this fight.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Yeah, postpone that fight.
Postpone.
Don't do that.
Postpone the fight.
Don't try to screw them over. And and it could be, and I agree with you on this, Trill. They're looking at Amanda like we're gonna cut you the most because they're hoping she'll be the one to still agree to it. Exactly. Although
people walk,
she'd be taking the biggest hit. So it's a sucky situation, man.
This is boxing. The boxing business sucks.
Can't say Katie in front of
the sport of boxing is beautiful. The business of boxing sucks and stinks. It's bad.
Hey, but Trill is way better than the UFC though.
Yeah, in the WWE, I heard.
Hey, man. Don't get us more hate in the comment section.
I like UFC, though. I actually like UFC. I'm just saying.
All right, so we're going to move on to the last topic, which is what is your favorite father and child duo in the history of boxing? And I'm going to share the screen. This article names some names, but of course it's not all the names. It has Tony and Anthony Mundane, William and Buster Douglas. Okay, now my computer's acting up. All right. Leon and Corey Spinks. Chris Eubank Jr.
The UK squad. Let's get it.
Look at my man. Mom, don't play with my man.
Always,
Yo, Chris,
I don't know who best is funnier. Garcia or Kenny Porter. You know what I mean? For real.
Nah. You already know what it is. Eubank, he's more shopper dresser.
Yeah, 100%.
What time this dude wore
Lenny and Ray Mancini.
A sleeveless tuxedo. I said, fam, what's really good with you? You know what I mean?
Yo, yeah, with the Pradas on, right? He was killing it, bro, with the Pradas.
Hector and Hector Camacho Jr.
Hey.
Joe and Marvis Frazier. But remember, he also had his daughter, Jackie Frazier.
Yeah.
Gutsy and Gutsy Espadas Jr. Wilfredo and Wilfredo Vasquez Jr.
Okay.
Floyd and Tracy Harris Patterson. Floyd Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather Jr. And Julio Cesar Chavez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah, as number one.
We're not even acknowledging that. This is just to give you some names of some father-son duos.
Man, listen, how dare they not have Kenny and Sean Porter on that list, bro?
Listen, man, that list was probably made before Kenny and Sean.
Oh, I know. That's what it's looking like.
That list, that was an old list. But I want to name some other names. So there you named it. You can throw out your own. There's Kenny and Sean Porter. There's Tyson Fury and John Fury. There's Peter Fury, Harry Fury, Felix Trinidad and his dad. There's Barry Hearn and Eddie Hearn, Dini Garcia, Angel Garcia, Zab Judah, Yoel Judah, Roberto Guerrero and his dad, Shane Mosley, Jack Mosley, Miguel Cotto, and Miguel Cotto Sr., Devin Haney, his dad, Teofimo Lopez and his dad. There's so many. You can you can keep going. So, but for you, what's the greatest father and child duo in the history of boxing? And this is all due to Father's Day.
Oh, okay, yeah. So happy Father's Day, everybody.
And I'll start off with you, G, since
me personally, the greatest I would say is the Mayweathers, right? So I'm gonna go with Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Jr. You know, and especially in addition to that, the extended family, his two uncles, Roger and Jeff. So I think that's probably solidified, But my personal favorite, I would have to say, Kenny and Sean Porter, because every time on this,
I'm about to mute you. You
gotta understand. They flashy, they funny, and anytime they come together, I just know either the father's gonna play the son or like something's gonna happen. And so they always entertain me, especially Kenny. Kenny thinks he's that dude, and so anytime he grabs the mic, it's hilarious. I'll give an honorable mention though to Angel and Danny Garcia, because Angel is also hilarious. Anytime he grabs the mic, I'm about to laugh. I know it. Like, I just know he's gonna say something crazy off the wall, which is hilarious. But Danny doesn't provide that same energy. Danny's usually the chill, laid back one while, his dad's doing all the talking. So it's not as dynamic as, say, Floyd Sr., who be trying to rap, and Floyd, who,
poetic,
promoting a fight.
Former fighter turned poetic writer. Get it right.
You're right. Music to my ears. Salute to Floyd Mayweather Sr. So I'll probably say that would be, but I do like the Chris Eubank duo, because the father is outrageous. Like, I forgot which fight it was. He didn't say a word to his son. He's literally training his son. He didn't say a word to him. He just kept ice grilling him. And I was like, what kind of relationship they got? And they made it hella public because it was in the middle of a fight, to the point where the father walked to the center of the ring just staring at his son in a tuxedo that had no arms, like a sleeveless tuxedo suit. Crazy. You know what I mean? Didn't say nothing to his son, and then he just walked away. And I was like, yo, whatever kind of family dynamic they got, I need more of that. So those will be my my top three, and the fourth one for honorable mention will be Angel and Danny Garcia.
All right, Trill.
Nah. Shout outs to Floyd Mayweather and his daddy, even though they done had some public issues, and it was times where Floyd and them wasn't rocking, but he did teach Floyd the basis, and Floyd loves his dad, and shout out to Tefima Lopez and his dad, and I like them too. Shout outs to all Lomanchenko and his dad. I like seeing all that. But nowadays fighters, I love the dynamic of Angel and Danny, like you were saying, G. I love it for different reasons, not for where Angel going crazy and stuff like that. This is actually a hard topic for me, actually. I like the fact that how Angel talks about his son. And he talks about how when Danny was born, and Danny's been a fighter since you could just tell the love that he has for Danny. And how he said, how he was expressed every time he talks about Danny, he chokes up. And he gets teary-eyed. And this is Father's Day, and I'm actually thinking about my dad. And he's not here right now. So I love that. And I remember when Danny won that fight, and he beat, I believe it was Martise. He grabbed his dad in the middle of the ring. When everybody doubted him, he grabbed his dad and he said, I effing love you. I effing love you. You know what I'm saying? And that was a powerful moment for me, missing my dad. But if I had to pick one, I would have to pick Miguel Cotto and his dad. The love that they had for each other reminds me of the love that I have for my dad. When Miguel Cotto lost that fight to Antonio Margarita, the person who was sitting beside him crying tears was his dad. And he made a statement that he was crying blood, but he was crying from love. From the tears of blood, he found love and consolement from his dad. When he got that revenge, he dedicated that fight to his dad. And his dad passed on, and I felt like all boxing fans and everybody who had a connection with Miguel Cotto felt that. On this Father's Day, I miss my dad. So this is great that we're doing this. So shout out to Miguel Cotto and his dad.
All right. I feel you, bro. All right, Ned.
I wanna say this. I kind of don't respect the list because some fathers don't always have the son to take up their mantle or to take on their legacy. And the biggest father, you said father-child, so I think I might be taking the answer. Father-child duo to me is Muhammad Ali and Layla Ali, because when I think of parent like that, when I think of that, I think of them. They come up first in my mind. And one other thing before I finish, I want to say shout out to Silva Sergeant Sr. Your name pulled weight like that to give you your son's career, get y'all first place. That's crazy. Your name pulled weight. That's all. But yeah.
Yeah, so Trill touched on like a lot of things. I've been watching the sport of boxing for a long time. You see many emotional moments with fighters and their dads in the bond of the sport, where it's like, I remember Oscar De La Hoya when he was saying how like his dad was never impressed at his fights and never showed him any love. And it was when he lost to Felix Trinidad where his dad told him like, that's the best performance I've seen from you. And you just see like those moments in for the same reasons Trill likes Angel and Danny, the same reason why I like them as well. Like people look at Crazy Angel and they think he's doing whatever. He loves his son. And you can tell just in the way he speaks about it, the way he loves his son. And Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Sr., they represent another dynamic. They represent that complicated, can't get along, you weren't always around, but I love you. I teach you everything I know so you can be successful. I may not be the perfect dad, but I taught you everything worth value in my brain so that you can be successful. And, you know, there was a culmination of that moment in Floyd's like real last professional fight where he fought Berto, where he was overwhelmed and he realized when he was looking at his dad in that moment, he said, "You're the reason I'm here. We may have had whatever, but everything you taught me is the reason why I'm here today." And so he was overwhelmed with emotion. And like that thing about situations like that is you never know when it's going to hit you. And it just hit Floyd in the middle of the fight in the 12th round. Like, yo, my dad really took me here. He taught me everything worth value that he had in his messed up life to get me here. And so that was, I think, a great moment. And it kind of shows because people watch that 24/7 where Floyd went off on his dad, but then you see that moment. And you realize humans that you have waves of emotions, ups and downs, and typically men with their dad. Father-son relationships can be very complicated, can be very difficult. And so you look at a moment like that, that's a great moment. I think of Anthony Joshua when he lost to Andy Ruiz. And then you saw his dad just like ready to go at Eddie Hearn. Like, hey, man, like what you doing? And everyone's wondering, well, what's going on? Well, what's going on? You got a big bad man like Anthony Joshua who's knocked people out, even knocked Ruiz down, and he losing. His dad is just ready to, because that's what fathers do. And so for me, the top dynamics that I've seen is in terms of father-son in the sport, I would say Danny and Angel, Floyd Mayweather Sr. It's weird and unusual, but this guy was weird, but you can tell. I can't remember his name. I don't know why I can't remember his name. But Robert the Ghost Guerrero and his dad.
Oh yeah.
And you can just tell he loved his son.
Eddie, what's his name? Eddie Guerrero? Nah, was it?
Yeah,
we gotta find that out. Yeah, Guerrero's that.
Now he was a character too. He was a
character.
You can just tell, like, the love he had for his son. And he wouldn't do his trash talking too, but like, once again, you can tell he taught his son the best of him. And Robert the Ghost Guerrero was the best of him. And so, and you can see that. And Felix Trinidad and his dad. And I used to love watching it because this would be the funniest thing to me. And you know this is love. And you know this is love. When Felix Trinidad would be losing or get knocked down, his father would slap the mess out of him. Just slap him. And Felix would just, and you like, you know that's only a father can do that.
I see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Angels be slapping Danny too.
Yeah, Danny said he told him, you better not do that again. You know, it's very difficult to pick the best, but for me, the most impactful was for me to see Felix Trinidad with his dad. To me, I was the most impactful because I just remember watching Felix Trinidad was trained by his dad, and he's fighting all these fighters who have like these high profile names. And as a youngster, and just, you know, watching it live, and I just see him with his dad. It's just Felix and his dad versus this fighter and this major trainer, and it's Felix and his dad. Felix, and they were winning and winning and winning and winning. And Felix, you know, and I remember when Felix had defeated his third Olympic gold medalist, and he was yelling, "Three gold medals!
3 gold medals!"
His dad, you know, you can't take that away from them. They did that together. So for me, number one, I would have to say Felix Trinidad and his dad. But there's so many, and there will always be so many, because like boxing is one of those sports where you're in the ring alone, but it takes your family to get you there. So, you know.
Boxing is a beautiful sport.
Also, I do want to give Angel his credit, because I remember one time in an interview, he literally said, you could tell the best trainers are the fathers because we would do our job for free. And when I think about it, I was like, that's real. You know, like, he literally would do that free of charge. You know what I mean? Like, so if Danny's career goes to the floor, he's still going to be there training his son in his corner. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day to everybody, because Father's Day isn't just one day. It's every day.
All right, take us home, brother.
Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Tell us how you feel in the comment section. We appreciate you. It's the Boxing Bros.
We been defending like we